It's Morbin time.
Ugh.
Or shit, it's Morbin time. There, that's what it's supposed to be. Stand back, Gustav Magnum. I'm beginning to morb.
Morb.
Morb Rising. Okay.
Morb Rising. You know what? That could actually just sum up the last couple of months at this point. Just Metal Gear Rising suddenly coming out because of a fucking meme. And then just Morb. Just Morbius.
Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Downtime in the Hangar, where we talk about all things GBO2 and definitely Tangent, and talk about the Kshatriya a lot.
Did we mention
like
the
Kshatriya.
Kshatriya? It's already started, so
Yes,
get used to
Kshatriya.
it.
Kshatriya.
Kshatriya?
Never heard that suit.
Overlay being
Did
wrong.
they announce that?
Already. I forgot to change the overlay. But anyway,
Oh,
as usual though, I'm joined by Gustav the 13th.
Yep.
A GamingEmblem.
Howdy, howdy.
So while I'm fixing my stuff, how was your guys' month?
It's definitely been a month. Actually, just had to a different job myself. Just been doing interviews.
Yeah, I saw you talking about that.
But outside of that, we have been getting into G Generation Genesis recently after finally finishing Super Robot Wars 30's expansion, which took like almost 13 extra parts at like 2+ hours each, sometimes, depending. There was a lot in there. But it was good. And then, of course, we're delving right into another one because we actually knocked out Breaker 3 in the interim, waiting for Genesis to show up at the house. So we're getting through a lot of the usual Gundam staples. A little late, but it's been fun. Outside of that, just trying to keep up with clan stuff on occasion and playing a lot of GBO2. What about you guys?
My week's been pretty good so far. Mainly just doing the same stuff. GBO2. I started playing G Generation Overworld as well. It's kind of funny. We'll probably get into it more a bit later, but it's relevant to stuff that happened earlier in the week as well. But besides that, I'm mainly just trying to see if I can go to Anime Expo this year. I'm trying to get tickets and stuff. Plane tickets are like $400 to go to see it, or to go to LA. And even from me in Washington, it's like a 17 and a half or so, 17, 16 and a half, whatever, like hour drive. So it's a big drive, and like gas prices the way they are, airfare is like, probably have to like eat.
Nothing cheap.
I have to eat water while I'm down there, man.
Get those water packs or whatever that dissolve. Just tasty.
I didn't even know it was a real, but
Just get some seasoning on one of these real quick.
for real, because I won't be able to do anything besides be there and leave.
Are you?
But nothing too
Did you say
crazy.
you're gonna fly in, or?
Well, I'd probably save money flying over
Yeah.
taking such a long drive. I can't imagine it would be cheaper.
There's one airport. I'll see if I can look it up. Whichever one I flew into, it's a lot cheaper than just going to LAX, and also a lot easier time because if there's a lot of people, LAX is. Oh, dude, I hate LAX.
Yeah, I've been there once. It's been a while, but I don't remember it being bad. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm used to flying out of ATL, and it's like super busy over there.
Yeah.
So may not have been as bad.
One. But I normally have a layover in ATL.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the LAX was just a pain trying to get in the morning. Like I had to, yeah, I just got out and walked because the line was just like, I was like, well, I got like an hour and something, so I could sit here for like 30 minutes till I got like closer to an hour. It was like an hour and 50 minutes or something. So I was just like, yeah, we can sit in line for 30 minutes. Okay, I'm getting out. I'm walking. I got wheels on my bag. We're good. But yeah, it was pretty bad. Like the lines can get crazy over there. And then like when I got in, it was like, oh yeah, now here's security check. Oh, good thing I got out and walked. So yeah, it was pretty bad. But yeah. But anyway, anything else that you've been up to?
Sorry, I was adjusting volumes. That's pretty much it. I mean, just working. You guys probably know how that is.
Oh yeah.
But and then for me, I've been busy as well, just getting stuff done, getting caught up on things, and crazy stuff and things. But yeah, been kind of crazy the past couple of weeks. But other than that, though, the really been enjoying as far as new games, other than the usual stuff like GBO2 and Tarkov sucked me in again, and they might be doing a wipe soon. I don't know. They finally did an event that kind of imitates what they do at pre-wipe events. Everybody's been like, "Oh, it's pre-wipe, it's pre-wipe," and I'm like, "No, this just looks like an event that they're doing with a storyline. It's probably not pre-wipe." And then now this time though, they finally did something with two of the bosses being on one map, and they had a funny picture of Tagilla and Killa, like going on a farm and starting a family or something. But yeah, the two brothers, you know, they've been rampaging on the new map. So normally they get moved to a map close to pre-wipe. So that's, you know, so who knows? Maybe in 3 weeks I'll be stuck in Tarkov for 48 hours straight or something. You know?
Oh no, Tarkov
Oh, Lord.
purgatory.
Yeah, as soon as that wipe happens, I'm gonna just do nothing but that for like 3 days.
Boy.
Which kind of makes me sad because Path of Exile just came out with an update, and I've been doing a lot of that too. Did hardcore on probably one of the hardest leagues that they've come out with in a long time. Actually, maybe the one of the hardest points the game's been in, because the mods that some of the things had, I literally got one shot by a white mob in a white map with no mods.
I heard, like, what is it, the altars or whatever? Like, the more you open, the harder stuff starts to hit or something like that.
Oh well, altars are that was. Like,
I mean, I could be using the wrong term, but
that was like 2 leagues ago.
There's like something.
Sentinel, now you press a button and it just turns on and buffs enemies around you, making them stronger. And healing them back to full health if they're at 1 health too. So if you buff a boss by accident, you accidentally fat finger a key, and you know it buffs the boss. You got to kill the boss again. But yeah, they came out with Uber Elder. So now they have Ubers of all the fights, and they had a race, which was insane because of course everybody played like 1 of 3 builds, because that's about the only builds that can race, because it was a hardcore race and actually get that far. But yeah, so it was pretty crazy. I started off with the build. I've got one of the builds that actually did some of the winning of the races, but I'm just copying their stuff now at this point, because it's just difficult. Like, the build I went with is nice. It can go, but I just got one tapped. And I mean, that's the problem with it right now, is like you're just getting one tapped left and right by literally the guy who got third got hit by a blue mob on a map that had no mods for damage, and he also got one tapped by just a blue mob that was just like smack. And you know, he did all the Uber fights and took hits from them, and then just a blue mob on a map with no mods is just like, ooh. It's just crazy. It's ridiculous. But anyway, so they might have pushed the one-shotting a little bit. I might go back to softcore just to get the challenges done, because now they put a whole set of armor and cosmetics in. But yeah, that Path of Exile Emblem, you should play. We should do a character. I've got a link character thing where we link to each other, and if one of us dies, both of us dies.
Oh God.
Oh God.
That sounds awful. Amazing.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, other than that, then V Rising is also hit, which is like Valheim, only Path of Exile style. Like, it's top down. You know.
I'm still not super sold on that, but people have been talking about it having rounds and stuff too.
Rounds?
Yeah, I think people are mistaking it with something else, where it's kind of like a build-up, but it's also more of a MOBA. But I think this is just more exploration and just kind of building, but just isometric, right?
Yeah, so you can do, it's PvE or PvP. You can do a PvP server, and that's why some of the mechanics are the way they are in the game. But the PvE is, you go out, you fight bosses, kind of like Valheim. It's that same Valheim Terraria. You go, you adventure, you gather, you build a base, and then you go fight a boss. This one has got some of the better streamlined mechanics. There's literally an altar that says, "Follow the blood trail to the boss. Go."
Oh.
And then you just go find the boss, and then it's a giant bear, and it smacks you in the face, and you're dead.
Heckin' bear.
So like the bear bosses, I probably died 20 times or so, maybe 30. I was a little undergeared, but eventually I cheesed it and got the boss down. But yeah, it just smacks you, and that's it. But yeah, V Rising, a lot of fun. It's top down, really good fighting mechanics. That's the big draw to it, really. I would say is there is a with the PvP in it. It's really good. Like, I mean, just as far as like on Twitch, there's been like Shroud's been playing it a lot and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like fast
Yeah, it's the new hotness right now,
Yeah.
for sure, in terms of people playing it.
But as far as like having mechanics and stuff, it's pretty mechanic intensive if you're doing the PvP, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of abilities. You can customize your setup pretty well from PvE to PvP. You can do AoE builds. You can summon a bunch of dudes. You can, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you unlock down the road. There's some cool weapons. I was hoping they would go more, but sadly, from what I've heard, where I'm at, where I got a scythe now, is probably about the most intense weapon that you can get, as far as like a little bit out there from the normal sword, mace, axe kind of thing. But
it's funny you have a scythe because you do like crafting and collecting, and that's what those things are made for.
Yeah, actually, that's
besides
the
looking
thing.
like everyone's favorite edgelord
You
weapon.
take the
So you're
scythe
using it
and
for its
you-
intended purpose.
No, you really do. You harvest.
Yeah.
The scythe
Yeah.
helps you harvest stuff more, so you just go cleave some grass and get more out of the grass than you normally would.
Meanwhile, people
Mhm.
looking at playing Stardew Valley or Minecraft are like, "What are you talking about? Those are always used for that." Just like,
Right. But yeah, it's really good. Gustav, if you want to get into it, got a server up. And the best part is, unlike Valheim, when you do a boss, it just unlocks gear that your clan can then access through the
Just
library, and they can make it if they want to. But if they just want to progress normally, the world doesn't level up, and the world doesn't just kill them. That's the one thing I don't
That's
like
fair.
about Valheim, because it's like, okay, everybody that wants to do this boss, get in here, because once it's
you gotta experience it, otherwise you're not gonna know why you're
otherwise-
getting killed 5 seconds later.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because then you have goblins roaming the land, and somebody's like, "I'm a new guy. I'm going. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's a little goblin. Oh, he one
Oh
shot
god,
me.
the goblin hits hard.
He one shot me. Oh
My
no.
body.
There's a mosquito flying around in the starting zone.
Oh,
What is this? Oh, it poked me. I'm dead. So that's the one thing I don't like about Valheim is when you upgrade your world,
that's all
everybody
literally
has
like
to catch
one
up.
dude pushing that shit too. Just the guy that didn't want people to fucking travel or to have like the minerals and stuff going through portals and shit. He just kind of figured that most survival games are a lot more stationary. So it's just like, nah, the world's gonna be filled with a bunch of contrivances, and it's gonna be really ball busty. It's kind of like when they had to rein in Kojima for Death Stranding. It's like, no, the video game has to be fun, dude. Like, okay.
Right.
They need pain.
But like I will say, V Rising though has one of the best features that has been in any of these building games, and you know what that is? I've got a chest right here. It is full. Like it has like 7 rolls of things. Like if I picked it all up, it would fill up my inventory, and probably more. I can just pick up the chest and move it while it's full somewhere else, and reorganize my base.
Man.
I don't have to break down the structure. I can just move the. I instead of breaking down the wall and then rebuilding the wall somewhere else, I can just move the wall.
That also like lends to the perspective that they get that game too, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean even then you could see them doing that for other games, but it's also it definitely like that. I want that feature in every game now because I cannot stand like okay, well this section of organizing I want to move it slightly to the left. Okay, well let's take out 700 items and then put all of them back slightly to the left. You know what? I'm not doing that. It's fine where it is. Function over form. now
Yeah, I don't mind them taking out the inconveniences of an inventory system. Sometimes I don't need my video game to be realistic in that regard, right?
But yeah, I will say it's a ton of fun. All the bosses, if you like bossing and you like some hard bosses, you can pretty much edit anything in the server that you want. They have some crazy editing options just out the gate. You can pretty much just make your server do whatever. You can turn up the damage, the health. the action speed, anything you want to do just to make the game harder. Like maybe I did. But anyway, yeah. So come join my server and get wrecked.
That's in the server itself, though, right?
Yeah. It's in the server, yeah.
Mm.
But no, I actually turned it down. But recently. But the funny thing is I was like doing those bosses on like super hard mode. So the yeah. Other than that though, it's really fun. The mechanics of the bosses get pretty crazy. You know, at first it's like, oh, this guy throws a bomb at you that might explode 3 more times around it. Cool. Then they get to the point of like, okay, you got to dodge, then you got to blink twice, and then you got to jump over here, and then you got to stay out of this area. Then yeah, so it gets really cool. And unlike games where they scale just health and damage when more people are around, this one scales mechanics. So I think this is more toward the PvP side too, is one reason why some of these get impossible. But say you have 10 people around this one boss, it'll shoot a projectile, and then it spawns, like say there's 10 people, it'll spawn 10 ads. And that projectile will shoot 3 times or 4 times, which then if it hits one of those ads will bounce between them, shooting another 3 or 4 times. And then you have impossible bullet hell, and everybody just dies. So you can't have too many people doing a boss. Or like one boss, I mean, sometimes it's, you know, not all bosses are like that, but a few of them are just impossible if you have like 6 people doing it. Because one has this attack that takes like, say, 6 seconds to cooldown. And he can just blink and kill it and hit everybody for free, essentially. And then by the time he's done, it's on cooldown, so he just does it again. And then he does it again, and everybody's dead.
So it just turns into an endurance match. Like, you can probably deal with the pattern with there's few people, but like having to do it for too long is just exhausting, essentially.
Or
he's a cheater.
Or in that last guy's case, you just all die because he just blinks you all, dealing free damage. You can't do anything about it, and then he does it again and again and again, and you're dead.
And they're just like, it's fair, right? Because there's so many of you. Like, no, it's just number.
Well, again, I think too, some of this is to limit the PvP stuff. So it's like, say you had a group of 4 and you're all fighting the dude, and then another group of 4 rolls in to try to steal it, and then he just kills everybody instead. And so like, I think that's kind of one of the things. And some of these that are kind of hard like that are kind of bosses that are the gateway to the next tier of stuff. So I think that's one reason why they're so hard when it comes to that, because if you really want that in a PvP setting. Oh, and real quick, they do a thing for anybody who likes the PvP. At the end game, they do Dark Age of Camelot. I don't know if any of you played that, but essentially there's certain items that are limited on the server, and you have to carry it back to your base, and while you're carrying it, you can't do any of your extra travel stuff, and you just got to walk it back. And then, so that means another PvP group could just, you know, follow you as a mouse and be in the bushes, just, you know, sneaky following you. And because you can transform into a mouse and a wolf and stuff like that, and then like
where are 30 ads?
then they jump at you and then just they're being like, okay, we got 3 guys over here, 2 over here, we need 7 to get this guy, and then we can take the item. And then that's kind of the end game, is you're fighting and sieging their castles and trying to take the items that they have that are, you know, only like, there's only like I think 3 different ones, and there can only be 1 of each on a PvP server. So like, you fight for that item, take it back to your base, and then you've got that one thing, and then that makes your entire group stronger than everybody else, kind of thing. And that's kind of the end game, is getting all 3 of those and fighting for them and having wars with your big castles and whatnot.
Vampire battles,
pretty much. But yeah, that's me.
Do you morb, Magnum?
Oh my gosh.
Oh god.
I was hoping. I was like, we've gotten away. I'm not going to be the one.
Surely we are.
I don't even know what a morb is, but I know people have been saying it.
I mean, you know, I'm morbrizing right now. You know, it's out of the bag. Might as well just morb it up. But anyway.
Oh god, it's so morb.
I did a morb opening, by the way, and I did get this too. So that
I was like, what's a morb opening? Nice. When I was mailing everything, the lady at the mailing station was like, what's their name? I was like, well, I don't really have a name. It's like, let's just do a business. So Magnum's business is EG Magnum, and Gustav's business is Gustav 13.
Oh, by the way, when I got that, I think I told you. The lady actually had to come to the door because the name didn't match with the with what was on my box, because obviously I just had my name on there. And she's like, are you Gustav? I was like, yeah, well, next time just try to put that like maybe under it or something, because like technically they can't drop it off unless you confirm. I think that was just kind of the way that it was
Oh, for
sent.
me, they just left it at someone else's house, and I had to
Yeah.
go get it.
Oh, they someone else's
Nice.
house. Let's go.
Because, of course, nobody can
shit.
find my house. So, yeah. Oops.
But yeah, mine's an apartment, so like they still had to like look at the boxes and be like, okay, well that kind of matches the address. It's just the name's different. Like, okay.
My roommate Gustav lives here. Just give it a box.
Yeah, I don't even know if they looked at mine, probably. I mean, it got left somewhere else, so...
Just
Yeah, they didn't care too much about it. Gustav's postal worker actually like cares about doing their job right. Good old dedication.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yes, tangent. I forgot what it's called. Morb over
here. Oh my god, man, gum is Morbin.
Yeah, the Morb memes. But yeah, Morbin over tangent. Whatever.
Done, perhaps.
Yeah. Anyway,
Gundam
you
can
things.
never not Morb.
Gundam things.
It's almost like that's what this podcast is supposed to be about.
What?
Specifically, Gundam Fest.
Hey.
And Dog
that we
Aggro.
all ended up doing random viewings for. It's totally not just staring into the void. What do you mean?
But yeah, go ahead and pull up the video and just have it kind of running a little bit for as we go over each one. But yeah, as far as Gundam Fest goes, I guess initial overall thoughts.
Sorry, Magnum. I am contractually obligated to tell you to go to my YouTube video for that. But no,
yeah, me too. In fact,
yes, everybody go to the YouTube videos. And then,
oh god,
Gustav has one, Emblem has one, and I will have one soon.
It's fucking meta because it's like, oh, everyone doesn't watch each other's podcasts because they're making a podcast. Well, by the way, we're not going to talk about anything because we've already made videos about it on our individual YouTube channels that you can catch here. But no, overall, it was kind of so. Some of the news for GBO2 was just like, they did make up for it with a certain thing, which is really nice. That suit announcement. Do we want to just get into that now, or do we want to talk about the stuff before that?
I'd say let's do an overview, then we can go through each individual game, and then we can talk about that suit now and later, because why not?
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
But yeah, I will say, as somebody who wasn't paying attention to a lot of the, because I don't know if some of this was the same, because everybody's like, okay, so we got nothing new.
Are you just skimming?
Wait, what?
Were you just skimming it then for most of it until the GBO2 part?
No. What I'm saying is like a lot of people were saying like, you know, there's nothing new from like the GBO2 part and the Gundam Evolution part, right? For me, I'm like, yeah, I see that. But for the SD Gundam stuff, I wasn't really following all the stuff about it. I knew that it was a thing. I knew what kind of gameplay it was, but for me, it was actually, you know, news. And
yeah, so there was that news line earlier in the week about them getting, or not early in the week, but maybe in the month of them getting the name. And Maniac early on was actually assuming that it might just be another overworld type of thing where they're just mixing different IPs and stuff instead of it being like Genesis where it's all Universal Century, or like Crossrays where it was all AU. And technically he was right. It just also so happens to be a mobile game.
Right.
Oh yeah,
I was going to open it since they already had assets for both. That the newest installment would just be the combination. Yeah,
kind of like Marvel versus Capcom games back in the day.
Yeah.
They already used all the old sprites and shit.
Yeah.
Was it Morgan out of all of them hasn't had a new sprite since like old Vampire Savior days or some shit? That was like a running joke with how reused a lot of those were.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like the SD Gundam Battle Alliance thing, like I hadn't been following it, so I'm like, this is news. Like how the game works, everything. Like I don't know if they've shown gameplay before, but like
very briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like this was very informative, being like, oh, so this is how the game works. It's pretty much like I know everybody's been saying another game, but for me,
SD Go.
Oh, SD Go. Okay. Well, I didn't hear that one.
It's
But
kind of like SD Go mashed together with
I think
Breaker.
you said one of the games though, like some other like Xeno or something.
Oh, Xenoverse, yeah.
Xenoverse,
The
that's what it was.
overarching concept of interdimensional and like timeline stuff.
Oh, okay.
Xenoverse is hell.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So the
Like, that
premise and the way
story-
that plays out with the mixing timelines and like people being in places they're not supposed to be. Technically, G-Gen did that first, because like all the OCs are just supposed to be kind of like an SRW squad that are trying to correct the timelines. By the time
That's pretty much exactly what happens in Overworld.
By the time we get to Crossrays and stuff, they do have descriptions. It's funny because in Genesis they don't. They're just like, nah, here's your favorite Gundam shit. Have fun. It's a lot less descriptive. Is Overworld where a lot of the like the god and goddess OCs come from too, with like their extra like OC?
Yeah, I know they have like the older games too, but Overworld seems to focus on Code Phoenix and one of the other chicks. I can't remember her name right now.
Yeah,
but I believe both of them were playable in Genesis and Crossrays too.
My coworker handed me a key. Also, I wanted to ask you, Emblem. I want to say this isn't their first venture into an SD Gundam, like mobile game. I think
there's a bunch of
played
them.
something in the past.
Yeah, I don't know the names of all of them, but they have a ton of like all sorts of different types of Gundam mobile games floating around.
I mean,
I think some of them
specifically
have been
for
around for a minute.
SD, like G-Gen.
Oh, like the G-Gen? I'm not sure. I'd have to look. I think this is their first mobile game, but I could be wrong. But I do know they have SD stuff, but I don't know if G-Gen has other stuff. I'd have to do a little bit more research. But I'm not aware.
Okay, I wanted to double check because I thought we talked about it in the past, but I think that's mostly just DD, to be honest.
Also, definitely DD.
Ooh.
But that's the... Or go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish this because I was going to move on to something else.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, like, my impressions of the game were, like, they just wanted to make another Dynasty Warriors game, but they didn't want to get Koei Tecmo involved, so they just made Chibis for Battle Alliance. I mean, there's just so many...
It's expensive.
Yeah, there's so many similar things. Like, you have different characters, they have different... There's a literal Masao gauge, like that little yellow thing that fills up. That's a fucking Masao gauge.
Masao gauge, yeah.
Yeah, they have health. You combo things. They
Yeah,
just have
I was
going to
say
enemies on the screen.
Warriors, it's like Dynasty Warriors Gundam mixed with like which apparently Gundam Breaker also locks on. So it's like the lock-on system, like Gundam Breaker, or
like the physics and the way that they work definitely is very breakery. That's why I was kind of saying SD Go with Breaker, because SD Go had a lot of just instance battles like that. And you could do combos and things, but typically you're just using a lot of your ranged and just unlocking suits and like upgrading them on occasion. So like a lot of that carries over. So it does have a little bit of DNA to do with that. It's just also a lot more intricate with how you do the combat, because you're literally juggling people in those trailers. Like it looks nutty.
Yeah, it's just like, well, I mean, I would say that's like Dynasty Warriors when you get on, fighting a like captain or a main suit, whatever, like you're just like you do your 4 buttons and then you do your big combo finisher attack. So that's what it looks like. It's just literally like smack, knock up now, and do your 4 hits, and then
light, heavy, and you just keep alternating them.
Yeah, like that's exactly what it looked like. So I'm like, it's just Dynasty Warriors Gundam mixed with either like Gundam Breaker, or for me,
really
what
just
I played versus
Dynasty Warriors Gundam.
Yeah.
Right.
But I will say though, the funny thing, the suit that's behind it all or whatever, that's distorting history, the Lucario or whatever the name that just popped up on the screen, I was like, oh,
the Lucario Gundam.
Is it the Mark III full armor? Is that what I'm seeing here? Because it looks kind of like the full armor Mark III.
Yeah, I thought it had like big long like waist spot guns on its back. So that's 4 of them.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, this is just a full armor Mark III something. Cool. But yeah, I will say the gameplay looks a lot of fun. That's what I'm kind of more excited about, because I've been wanting another like Dynasty Warriors Gundam thing, and if this is, I will say my biggest problem with like 3 was they just turned the entire area, instead of being like a big map, it was just
Mhm.
like, here's 4 squares or here's 6 squares with
Here's an arena. Have fun.
yeah, like here's 4 different arenas with connectors in between, and you might accidentally fight in the connector, but most of the if you ever have a captain like moving from one square to the next, they're probably not going to fight you, and you probably get free damage on them. And yeah, it was kind of weird. It was like this whole battlefield is a rectangle, except for it's a mountain range, but it's all rectangle for some reason.
It's
Cool.
rectangle flavored, or not rectangle, mountain flavored rectangles.
Yeah, I was like,
Heavily implied by these mountainous squares.
instead of it, yeah, it just was like, go from one battle arena to the next and clear out the battle arena before time runs out. And I'm just like, okay, cool. That's essentially what it is, but at least this one feels a bit lazy.
They knew
But-
you just wanted to do combo.
Yeah,
They just
pretty
kind
much.
of brought it to bare bones. It was like, I can do this, and this suit does this, and look at the crossover cutscenes.
Oh yeah,
Right here in the bunga.
Yeah,
you
Pru's
had
doing
4
like
maps.
G Gundam shit, and it's cute. And
Yep. I can't believe Millardo said that.
yeah,
Look at this vase.
Hero is also Gundam. Wow.
Yep. I can't wait for Hero to use a Sekiya Tenyoken in the next game. He never does.
He didn't say that.
I just like that they actually went hard with the vase meme. Look at this vase. This vase is amazing. Look at it. Look at this vase.
Witness the vase. Jesus.
La-ding.
Blooding.
Yeah.
Ding.
But anyway, but yeah, I guess I mean we kind of got into the Battle Alliance thing. So what do you guys think about Battle Alliance? I kind of just gave my thoughts. I think it's gonna be fun. Like,
I do too.
The bigger thing for me is that I got to figure out where most people are going to be. Because, like, the second the original trailer dropped out, I got a couple of DMs of, like, you guys want to do, like, collabs? And, like, co-op? And it's pretty much the same thing that happened for Evolution. Squads.
squad.
So,
Squad up.
now I got to figure out, like, if there's going to be majority on PC or if what console they're going to be on, since it's going to be multi-platform.
I'm doing PC.
I'm leaning towards PC myself. Yeah.
Because
I don't know yet.
I don't want frames to not exist. So
More frames.
Oh, sure.
Or you can just get a PS5. Wah.
Yeah, there you go. Console will take care of it, Magnum.
It does make me wonder how it's going to run on some of the other stuff, though.
But yeah, Emblem, if you decide PC, if we all get on PC, we could either do like a downtime thing or a GBS thing or something. If we get enough people from whatever.
Yeah, honestly, like I just don't know because I am under, and I don't know for sure, but I'm under the assumption I have a similar setup to Code Fairy, and I just don't know what console it's going to be on yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the thing I'm running into is I just have no idea how it's
Or
going
if
to
you're
work.
going to have like a choice of it or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice if they did. But...
That would be good.
And then Evolution. I am glad that they made those videos and stuff because some of those were new, even though they weren't really talking about new things. And a lot of it was just extra fodder for the social media channels and stuff because Evolution in particular has had a lot of people pushing back, like, when are you going to do a release date? Just put out the game already. You're taking too long.
Right.
And meanwhile, everyone's signing up for the console thing, and it's probably going to be more of the same. A lot of people are saying that they're probably going to reserve implementing some of the changes that they were talking about from the PC one until they do the test on console as well, just to see how much that's going to track across both like player bases, since they're also not going to be like crossplay. So technically those would be a little bit different depending, although I feel like a lot of those are just stats and aspects of the suits themselves. So we'll see. I still signed up just in case other people wanted to do it, because I know some people don't have like dedicated PCs and whatnot.
What up?
Like,
what up?
Squad.
I'm definitely down
like,
to play.
on that one,
Let's
I
sign
don't
up.
have an excuse either because it's free. So.
Oh yeah, that's the main thing with that one. I'm okay. Not gonna lie, I just saw in the video right now where the gun tank just punches twice and then does like a sweep wheel attack like the gun tank 2. I was like, what? What did I just see? But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, Evolution. Again, if where we've already played and been keeping up with it, nothing was really new there. But I am curious for anybody who hasn't been keeping up with any of these if they decided to watch this. Like again, the SD stuff was like, oh, so this is exactly how it works. Oh, that's really cool. Like that's. I really liked what they did with the videos. Everything explained everything really well, and
I also actually like that for GBO2 for the new map.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna point out next. And I think you said that when me and you were talking here the other day.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
only they did that every week. I'm sure it's a pain in the ass for them doing it for the fest in the first place.
Oh, and also one of my favorite things that happened in Gundam Fest was,
oh my god,
it's that mobile suit.
Yeah,
that
dude.
mobile suit.
When they talking about with the Char's
With the Char, yeah.
I was like, why isn't he? Are they not allowed to say these people's names? Like, why didn't you just say whose suit it was?
Well,
see, you had the same reaction that I did.
Oh,
he's
see,
talking
I'm
about
like,
being
they're doing the
referential.
meme. They're memeing
and I'm just
because,
like, are these
in the show,
guys
they're like,
just like fucking
that mobile
boomers, or
suit.
they don't
Could
know
it
the
be?
fucking name?
Is it that mobile suit? It's that mobile suit. Like that's in the show.
Like that. Could it be that mobile suit?
It's like it's in the show all the time.
Maybe the announcer didn't sound like he wanted to fucking die.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought was funny about it.
That's like he got picked up off.
He was literally using
voice or something.
He was literally just reading the script. Like it's that mobile suit. Like it was delivered so dry and dead, and I was like, dude's just like, man, it's a Char. Yep,
it's 11.
But yeah, no, that reference went right over my head.
I'm just so used to them barely putting effort, so I figured it was just like, nah, he just didn't know.
Yeah, he was just some dude that was just doing his job pretty much.
Hey, dude, read this card. Okay.
I was like, okay, there's your money. Bye.
Here's money. But yeah, like that was one of my favorites as far as just like that was the driest delivery possible for that.
Well, you know what?
Yes.
They do have a precedent because they did something similar for when they introduced the new level in GBO2 for your ranking. Because they did it because it was the same as Char's ranking in Gundam.
Oh yeah.
You could be the same as a certain ace pilot or whatever or some shit. I forget how they worded it, but it was a similar thing to like that mobile suit.
Yeah, I guess them being coy came off a little bit better in the text one.
Yeah. Well, because it's coming from people that you assume would know.
Sure.
A random announcer. It's literally the director of GBO2 being like, oh yeah, could it be the same rank as what's his name? Oh damn.
But yeah, also them describing the suits and everything else, like that was good. Like
now the description was literally like from a write up.
Okay, now that was for the suit that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah. No, I mean this is the other one. That's for the Delta Plus that they did.
Oh yeah, the Delta Plus. Yeah. For the Delta Plus, here I'm just gonna go and skip in the video to that point. Where's that? Yeah, here we go. Delta Plus time.
I like the little breakdown they did at the very least.
Yeah, I mean,
also, there was some extra footage for that description, which was neat. Of it like transforming, folding out in front of the camera and stuff. So they did some extra video and stuff too, which is nice.
They actually did a charge shot and then a normal shot after it. And then they did the normal beam and then the missile shooting, Vulcans. Like you actually see everything shoot, the transforming and everything.
What the hell happened?
And then it's the normal footage right there. That's just yeah. Oh, whoop. There we go. There's a binder of a thing that might be green. But yeah, the overall though, pretty nice. Again, the mobile stuff we kind of talked about that. I guess anything else in the Gundam Fest that you guys want to point out?
A lot of it was things that we know, but it's mostly because it's just us kind of constantly having people throw stuff into the Discords and whatnot.
Oh,
it's kind of hard not to know, but it's just nice because like we can just point people to that if they just want to know what's actually going on. Bandai Namco is constantly in the struggle of making sure people are even aware that these games exist. Because like anytime, like during the PC test, when people were showing up, it's like, what is this game still? Like they just,
Oh yeah.
it's been three almost 4 years, pretty much 4 at this point, and it's just like, what's this game? Or people being like, oh geez, this game still runs? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I was talking about this before we started the podcast, but all of the Gundam related socials have been plugging the event at Expo as well. Might as well just staple it onto the back of this. So if anybody is going to Anime Expo, there's going to be a Gundam Fest on Sunday, and the thing on the Twitter mentions a couple of like things in the description. But it's supposed to be raffles and sneak peeks and stuff like that. So if you're in there, you're going, or you're trying to save up for like $400 plane tickets or whatever, it's going to be on Sunday. You have to sign up. Go to their Twitter. I'll give you a link so you can put it in the description or whatever if you want to as well, Magnum.
That's cool.
Okay.
You can put it in the
It'd be
group
cool
chat
to
too, because I can just put it in the description of the video once this is a VOD.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, I'm glad they're doing stuff like that. Like all those ones that they had to cancel during like lockdown and stuff. They could just kind of do it for other events since cons are starting to pick up again.
But
There you go.
got some dog egg.
No, please.
It's called a Mobile Suit Gundam AX VIP event. All Gundam fans gather up, so you get to meet the team. There's going to be panels, raffles, sneak peeks, and more.
Ooh, nice.
But you have to be able to access the expo to get to the event, and then have a RSVP for the event as well.
That should have been my fist. Damn it. What? There we go. Ooh.
Magnum, you still got dog aggro? Looks like it.
Dog, please.
Okay.
Dog, go be a dog somewhere else.
Oh, my dog.
Oh, my dog.
I think he's finally. I don't know. Maybe if he needs out, I'll say outside here in a second and see if he runs. He didn't perk up then, so I'm guessing he's just wanting attention or something. He definitely had food, so it's definitely not that. But anyway,
It can always be that. It's just he doesn't need it.
yeah, more food, more. Give me more. But I guess we can go ahead and mention it right now. But Kshatriya was announced in that video too. Yes,
That's true.
Kshatriya, my green dream. Woo!
Oh my god.
Looks like a support. I sleep.
Dude, if it for real talk though, I'm saying it here too. If it's a raid somehow, I quit.
No, you don't.
No, I'm done. I'm out. I quit.
This is gonna be a raid.
Give raid as a member of the as a co-holding member of the raid coalition. We graciously accept.
It would be hilarious if they initially make it a support, realize that a lot of people were expecting it, but it didn't perform well enough, and then they made it a raid or a general.
Oh my goodness, dude!
And the first time they actually do like a type reassignment to it,
I would also quit.
Man, I was like, okay,
they'll probably leave it alone, and it'll probably be a support because they have what's the other version, the repair or something that they can make another designation.
And also this one, if you look at its movements, the biggest like argument for it, it's like, look how slow it is. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
look how slow it is. That really feels support.
Good old support tax. Feel support, bro.
So, but I mean, like actually having the defense skill on the suit that needs the defense skill. Let's go.
Yep. Full armor was just a prototype to see if people liked it on there, and they were like, "That's stupid. Generals need mobility. Stop making me stand still." It's like, okay.
So
won't do it again. It's like, we'll put on a support. Fine. Shit.
And I'm like, yes, they're putting it on a support. Thank you, please. I've been waiting for so long. Like the crouch thing and that is just straight up easy support skills that should exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like also give it to
It'd
like
be
the
good.
GBO2. Like even give it to the raid of that one too. That'd be cool.
That wouldn't be bad. But it has a real shield, so I guess because there's no precedent for a suit for a real shield to have it. But that'd be
Right.
interesting. Maybe just go away after the shield gets destroyed. I'm sure they can make that work.
Yeah.
They have skills that already act that way with the Hazel 2.
But yeah, we'll talk about the Kshatriya later, more. But I was super hyped. Unless we want to talk about it now, I'm keen to talk about the Kshatriya at any point in time. This is one of my favorite suits. It has nothing to do with it just being green as well, but you know, it even has green lasers.
Wow.
Wow.
So much aesthetic.
I got my main unicorn suit. The Delta Plus was probably one of my more favorite suits that shows up in Unicorn. Also, I mainly like it because of Mbon.
There's a lot of people salivating over it, only for them to realize, oh shit, it's actually a fair raid in a really busted cost range.
Damn you, Rebel!
Yeah, that's the other thing is the Rebabu. But like, let's go ahead and we can go ahead and get into that real quick. Let's get into the actual suit, and we'll talk about the Kshatriya. And I mean, we pretty much just talked about all that was been shown. It has a lot of beams, most likely a support. If it's not a support, I'm gonna cry. If it's a general, at least I'll cry. But at the same time, I can hunt down those raids, destroy them. And then actually, yeah, I'm gonna show this too. It's on my end. You guys, I linked it to you guys in the group chat. But the other overlay, which is gonna be my thumbnail, without the podcast stuff, gonna be my thumbnail for the Kshatriya video, because I'm definitely gonna be making one, because I'm gonna get it somehow, hopefully without needing to. Yeah, well, yeah, I gotta pay my internet bill first, but yeah, there we go. Actually, it kind of looks bad, the overlay right now for some reason. What? Did it like compress weird? Because when I look at it normally, it doesn't look too bad. But yeah, I did the JoJo's menacing thing behind it because I was like, yes, it's gonna be it. But yeah, so I've already got the thumbnail for that video ready, but I gotta find the Delta Plus again. Oop. Anyway, Delta Plus, what do we got? What do we got for stats and stuff?
Hold on a second. I was in the middle of pulling up.
Well, I mean,
you
already mentioned
you literally did a Twitter post for it too, so.
Oh yeah, but like who's got time to look at Twitter? Am I right?
Totally not what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I definitely need to learn to do the tweeters more. But yeah, the
okay, so
there we go. He's got it.
Base HP is 18,000.
Oh.
Yeah,
a little low.
it's a little squishy.
Just a little. God damn.
Raid things. The ballistic defense is 22. Beam resist is 28. Melee resist is 22. Range damage modifier is 34. Melee modifier is 31. So you can kind of do a little bit of both. Its movement speed is 135. Boosted speed is 195. I'm sorry, its movement when it's in a plane is 195, or when it's in Wave Rider mode. Its mobile suit boosting speed is 220. And its boosting speed when it's in mobile armor form is 235. It has 80 thrust. Turn speed is 72 when you're underground. 75 when you're a plane. I will say the suit feels pretty good to play from my experience. When you're in space, your movement is it says 75, but it says your shield makes it 72.8. When you're a plane, it's 75. Has priority 3. As far as part slots goes, top is 14, middle or medium slots are 23, and the bottom or long range slots are 11. The combo modifier fall off is a little bit better than normal. So this one has full damage on the first melee, and the second swing deals 80% damage instead of 50. So you can push out some big boy deeps. You do 30% more damage on the second swing than most suits do, which is pretty good.
It does not have a heavy attack, right?
Correct.
No.
So I've been comparing it to the A1 steak sauce. I'm curious what the health and stats are for it, because it's about, it's kind of a skinny suit. It's kind of about the same, sort of. This one's shield is a bit better, I think. But, or wait, does the A1 even have a shield?
I believe it does. I'll have to double check. But this suit actually has shield stance mastery or whatever it's called, which is nice.
Can you bring up the A1 and bring up its
Yeah,
stats
sure.
too? Because even though it's a base 600 cost, I've been comparing it to it because, it kind of transforms, shoots, and flies about the same, right? You got a nice little, which this one has to charge its beam to stun, but you do have your shield to instant stun, right?
Yeah, but you can the stagger build up's 50% on the beam rifle.
Tap it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I've been kind of comparing it to the A1, just with what feels to be pretty comparable damage, even though it has only one beam saber.
Yeah, and it does have shield.
Okay. So like, what's the health on it though, and defenses? That's the thing, because I want to say my A1 has like a ton of defense and health.
So, at the same cost, the A1 has 20,000 health. The level 1 version is 18,000. So you get 2k more. The ballistic defense is 15, so your defense is higher on the Delta Plus. Beam resist is 35. Melee resist is 30. Your range modifier is 29. Melee is 36. Movement is 130. When you're in flight mode, it's 190. Boosted for normal is 220. Mobile armor mode is 240. The level 1 and 2 have 70 thrust, goes up to 75 at level 3. Turning speed is 69 on the ground, 48 when you go into plane mode. So this is a little less maneuverable. You can't use it in space. Priority 3, slot distribution at level 2, which is the same cost, is 22 at the top, 18 in the middle, and the long distance slots are 8. This one has a kind of similar setup with the damage. So full damage on the first melee swing. Your second swing is 70%, and your third is 49. And that's so normally it's 100, 50%, and then 25% damage. So you get a little bit of extra deeps.
So I guess my next question is, hey, because you've played both, would you compare it to the A1 a little bit for anybody who might? And would you say it's better or worse? Because they did just buff it. We'll talk about the buff for the A1 here in a second.
I probably think I like the Delta Plus a little bit better. I think its tools are a little bit nicer. Like it has like good options in flight mode, which you kind of had the same thing with both. I mean, you have the pulse beam. Like it might be easier to stun into flight mode with the A1, but I could just be bad at shooting, which is not would not be a false statement. But I feel like the Delta Plus can chain stagger better. Where if the A1, both suits honestly want to close the gap, but I feel like the Delta Plus kind of doesn't have to if it doesn't need to. Whereas with the A1, you're gonna have to get into melee range with whoever you're leading into if you want to be able to do something. And the Delta Plus kind of can do a shot and then a shield shot and turn into a plane or follow up or do something without having to get too close. Like I feel like it's safer in that regard. And you have a double dodge roll.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Very nice.
It definitely has the safer option with more things to shoot. And I've seen a lot of the spam buildups. That's one thing that's really nice with a lot of stuff that can tank a hit, especially at 650. I was playing the A1 and there was a game lock in front of me, and my only option was spin it with the hip lasers because he was crouched, and then go smack him. He was in a bad spot, so I got to shoot him first, stun him. But if it was a little bit further range, there would have been nothing I could do except for maybe transform, fly at him, and shoot him, and then do it that way, and then ram.
Right.
Also, this thing has this heavy ram attack, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing. So yeah, I would say this one's definitely I would say it's a better A1 kind of as far as the feel goes. At least that's what it seems like when I see it attacking me, kind of thing. Just as far as fighting it, feels like.
I will say there's a lot less commit
tools.
stance too. Unlike the A1, which has to stand still to fire its hip beams, you can reset people while moving, which I think is pretty relevant. But the A1 feels nice. I played some games of it today, and I was able to stagger a Rebewoo, and then after he recovered, I reset him with the hip beams and smash him into the ground. So it's definitely better. It needed the adjustment. If like that part felt pretty good.
And then with the Rebawu being in the game, I feel like the health needs to be a little bit more on this thing, though. It's probably my only complaint with the Delta Plus. Because we'll talk about the Rebawu here in a second.
And I will say too, we compared it to this the night of, but honestly, the Delta Plus is kind of just like a Raid Zero Shiki.
Oh yeah, that's a good comparison.
Anybody that plays and likes that suit would probably click with the Delta Plus pretty well too.
But anything else we missed with the skills? I think we covered everything: shield, break, heavy, ram, attack, and
it doesn't have nitro. It doesn't have biosensor.
Yeah,
or anything like that.
No, nothing.
Don't get to be angry.
A regular ass transformable suit at 650.
It's just one of those. It's not bad, but it's not crazy, and that's the thing. I guess it's overshadowed by if you have anything that's already crazy at 650, then yeah.
Yeah, if you have like a GG, you probably don't need to worry about rolling on a Delta Plus.
Yeah. Yeah, still rules the roost at that cost. Like the transformable like defense or whatever doesn't even really factor into it at that point.
I will say, I think it's still too easy to knock out of the air. I wish I had damage control in flight mode. I don't even need it at normal. Even that'd be cool too.
But yeah, anything else with the Delta Plus though?
It's fun. If it's your suit, roll for it. If not, you can wait till next week when the Rizel Type C or whatever comes out.
Oh god.
Man, I don't know what you're talking about. When have we ever had precedence of them showing off a new suit in a live stream and it coming out the next week? I don't even think the anniversary, like New and Sazabi release, were the week after. Like, obviously the Sazabi because they didn't do it at the same time, but like the New Gundam was like a few weeks after the live stream, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like,
but it was like it was showing the anniversary. It wasn't like
specifically an anniversary's preview.
Yeah, it was a preview for the anniversary. It was anytime they post.
How many months it took us? You know how many months it took us to get to Zeong?
Oh my god.
Oh wait, we do have precedent of that, right? No, wait, no. Was that a week later? That was a week
Zeong?
later.
No,
yeah, no, wasn't it a week later?
No, it was months, man.
Was it really months? Okay,
yeah.
Was it really months?
No, I remember. Like I want to say Maniac was like, yeah, it's coming out next week because they showed a thing at a convention when they, because this was like when stuff was still happening over there in Japan.
When they were still doing those
Mhm.
meetups and stuff.
Yeah, and they were like, they just showed it, and somebody has a screenshot of like, they had a projector screen or whatever.
Right.
And then
Yeah,
so
like
that's
they did
coming
not
out
release
next
it
week.
next week.
No,
Mhm. They did not release it the following week, man. It took a little while because it's pretty much just like a spoiler.
Yeah, like technically that was like a leak, even though it was a public like event you could just register
thought-
for.
people were like, I want to say
pretty.
people were
I mean, I
like,
could go back and look, but I'm
Xeon's
pretty
coming
sure they
next
didn't
week.
release it the next week.
I'd be
But
curious
next
on
week.
that one. I'd be curious on that one. I mean, that's been so long ago at this point, but
The stupid thing is that we talk about getting some historians here. I'm sure there are some people who would actually remember, but we should probably look back at the VODs. And
Yeah,
just
they're
try
better.
To,
They're better than I am.
yeah, we could literally just probably go back.
Like find when
I
we
watched
first talked
Downtime
about it being
episode 3
mentioned.
or
Yeah,
something.
like yeah, we talked about that on
There's
episode.
too many.
So, speaking of which, I think I misnumbered a couple now. So I think we're on like 105 or something.
Oh no! Well, good luck finding where you started the misnumbering.
Yeah, right.
Oof.
Yeah. If there's like 3 episode 84s, then let there be 3 episode 84s. But oh well. That's a thing. And but yeah, Delta Plus, pretty good. Not crazy, not bad. Just it's balanced. It's good. It's an okay.
It's a mobile suit.
It's solid. There we go. That's the word I use. It's just solid.
Solid is a very nice word for ordinary.
It's solid. It gets the job done. It can win.
Don't say normal.
It can win the game.
Like
That's the main
anytime I
thing.
had to talk about a suit that I'm not impressed with, like when we do the impressions or whatever, like when I get it, it's like, well, I didn't really want this one. But I gotta be like, well, it's not bad. So it's a solid suit. It's fine.
So the other suits that we had were.
Yeah.
The first one of the month was. Did I bring up the right page? Yes, I did. The Rebabu. It was OP. It still is. I'm surprised it didn't get nerfed. But one suit got nerfed this patch. Hallelujah.
It sure did, and it didn't deserve it.
They nerfed the wrong thing.
They did.
They just needed to nerf one thing on it.
They missed.
And it would have. Yeah, they were like, we're gonna nerf you.
No, they should have just let the Rigazee alone and just focus on the Rebabu instead.
Like literally, the Rigazee should like nerf this. And I'm just like, no, you guys, why did you? You didn't even fix it. It's still the broken part is still kind of broken. But maybe that's what they want, is just it to be a glass cannon eventually.
Yeah, they just want it to be less survivable. Because that was the bigger thing, is that you would get on it after it did the big damage. The survivors would chase it, and it's just like, it's not dying. Oh, I'm going to get another stun. Oh, it pops sensor. Still not dying. Oh my god. Like, stop.
I feel like it's
funny
going to lose another 1,000
compared to other stuff, like, it already doesn't have flight control, which means, like, it already struggles to redirect itself more than, like, other raids that have come after it. Or, like, around that cost, or even under its cost.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't use the flight control stuff
regardless, because there's just so much. There's so much range neutral game.
Flight control's so clutch.
But yeah, flight control is really clutch when you're getting into like tighter engagements, when you're already like at that range. But like the bigger thing for the Rigazee, I guess, has always been that it has so much strong like range neutral game, so it can just kind of get away with not having to do that. It just flat foots people to death before it zooms in for its heavies.
The funny thing is, it's like support main here. Flight control. What is that? But at the same time, like every time I have an extra tool when I'm playing a general or a raid, and I'm just like, for instance, any of the suits that kind of play like a support, and just having like, for instance, the GOG, it's slow enough to be a support, so it's just like a support that smacks people in the face, or like the Shard Dija, like anytime I'm in
mid-range GOG, what are you talking about? Just get in there and do your slappies.
I thought the MLRS had flight control. Like, didn't all the GBO2s have it?
MLRS, no.
No?
It'd be cool if it did.
Yes, the missiles are too heavy.
Yeah.
The backpack's the same, but the missiles are so heavy.
Weaponry.
I thought both of them did, but I don't play supports, so I may have just kind of assumed.
Someone's saying that it might have been the second time the Rigazee's gotten nerfed, but I'm pretty sure this is the first one.
I don't remember them having a precedent beforehand. But who knows? Yutri made a good point. I mean, we got the trainer running around on Nerf, so like,
well, that's the other
about the
one,
Rigas.
right?
Trainer's kind of a mixed bag, though. Like, I get that it's pretty smooth going in there for the heavies and stuff, but the rest of its kit's just kind of so by comparison.
I mean,
You're
that's
not really
Maybe I
marching
should
up on
play it.
people with several different like instant stuns or quick consecutive stuns like the Rigazi is. It
I mean-
also doesn't have a sensor that gives it like a get out of jail free card either.
yeah, but I think it has too easy of a time just getting
The
that
quick
heavy
turn.
off though. The quick turn's just too strong. Like that's, I think
Yeah.
it needs to be hit.
You paid a price on it though.
Yeah, you do take a lot more damage, but the thing is, it definitely is one that almost guarantees it's getting its job done. Whereas the Rigazi, there's a chance that it's gonna die before it gets in there. Because if it
I
gets
would
stunned
say
at
that
all,
the trainer's a little bit more technical just because it doesn't have that much kit by comparison. The turn is cool, but I feel like half the suits that have those people are like the combos normally are just so strong that half the time I don't even see people do them. And it's not even that they're doing badly, they're just doing it without it.
I don't know,
Sometimes you just gotta take whatever damage you can get and get the fuck out.
Yeah,
if
just
I
call it
had
a
to
day.
say it, I would say the trainer would probably be at cost the strongest raid at its cost, maybe.
Oh, base cost for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely probably at this point, is Rigazi, EZZ, and the trainer are the three best raids at their base cost.
I wonder if it is
I don't know which one is the best, but I would say trainer is just because the turn. Because when people get really good with that, the trainer is deadly because it can. Because you can like, if you're about to get like build up stunned and you know what's shooting you, you can just turn. And I've seen people turn when missiles are hitting them so that they don't get stunned by like 4 missiles. And they take more damage, but the thing is they get out with 2 health, and you know, getting out with 2 health, they're getting stunned and dead, and then sometimes it's a little bit better if you can come around the corner and heavy attack somebody. Because now you have 2 health, and now you have a bunch of generals that are salivating at a 2 health raid, and then they come around the corner and you just smack them in the face because they're greedy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's one of those like, you get to get one more attack out and get that extra damage, and it's a heavy attack, so it doesn't really care what type you are. You're taking some decent damage no matter what. But I don't know. It's just being able to, from a support's perspective, there's literally nothing you can do against a trainer coming at you.
Yeah, like your average player would say, if you're worrying about the play-by-play that much, you probably already fucked up. But for a support who still has to take the hit, they're like, well, that sucks. I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, like a Rigazi, I can at least, if I shoot well enough, I can stun it before it gets to me. And at worst, I can tackle it so it doesn't heavy attack me. It'll probably still combo me to death, but it won't heavy attack me in one hit and kill me. Whereas the trainer, I'm just dead. I can try to stun it. I can't do that. It'll turn. Then it's still boosting at me. Oh, now I tackle it. Oh, it just turned. Now my tackle ends, I'm dead. I mean, that's literally the trainer just turn twice and not care. That's my only problem with the trainer, is as a support player, you literally have no options to actually defend against that thing. But anyway,
Raid life or support life.
But
anyway,
yeah,
about the we're supposed to be talking about,
the
right?
Rebawu, yes.
It's broken.
It's pretty broken. It's got so many combos, so many melee combos, crazy damage on melee and its range, and it's just good. If you got Vulcans that stun good, like it's funny. I was like, haha, I'm a Gaymok. I'm gonna crouch in front of you, and it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna Vulcan stun you, and I'm like, no, you have so many instant stuns and this rip.
They hit really hard too.
And then its shield is big enough to where it's just like, well, I full like barrage lasered you, but you're still at good health, and you took all of them to the face, except for your shield blocked half of them. So it's crazy. Like the Rebawu is absolutely insane. So if you get it or manage to get it at this point, congrats, you got the OP till it finally gets nerfed. Because this is, do you guys think this is as bad as Mark II days for general?
For that
Even
cost
worse
range, I guess. But yeah, it's a little bit worse, except like This is one of those suits where, you know what, I would say it's as bad because I feel like there were some people who weren't picking Mark II or like Keyblade out of principle after a while. Or just because
Which
there
is
was other
funny. The
stuff that they
Keyblade was
wanted to play.
never like the Keyblade was never like super meta disgusting. It just
I mean,
didn't
it
was just
was
the
at
only
the
thing that we
time,
had.
and then like by the time we got the next couple banners on, it was like, all right, well that's gone now. And then they did the debuff for the shoulders, and I was like, well, it's super done now.
Oh yeah,
Hashtag unnerf to Keyblade.
Yep,
right?
please unnerf Kubaloo.
Please. They gave it to the support, which is cool, but just unnerf the main one now, please.
Yeah, you should made a good comparison. It's like pre-nerf Methus. They were quick to nerf the Methus.
Yeah, they were.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
surprised they haven't done anything to Rebawoo. I guess because Fa is not in the Rebawoo. Heck, in Gundam.
I will say the Rebo though is like it's a little more complicated than say a Mark II, right? But at the same time, like if you can master all the different weapons and you're good with the swaps and everything, this thing
with the way everybody that
disgusting.
I run into playing it change staggers me, it looks like it's fucking cakewalk and
Oh yeah.
beam, shoulder like leg beam, fucking rockets, chest Vulcans. Like I want to play the video game. I'm playing the video game.
Well, that's what I'm
play
saying.
the
Like
video game now.
it's like you can play it simple and do insanely well, or you can actually get really good with this suit.
But why
and
would you if you don't have to?
It's insane. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's
Like,
gross. It's gross at like
when we're talking about like meta and stuff, we're just talking about getting through the matches, and like especially since they already pretty much nerfed the rating system to the point where you can't climb quickly for doing well. So what's the point of putting in the extra effort if you have something that you can just turn your brain off and get through the match and do decently enough to maybe get that +3 while still maintaining the win?
it is kind of a topic later, but when you say that, I am curious what your thoughts on the rating system then, like kind of
Mostly because of a certain flub that happened during the last update.
Oh yeah, yeah, we're definitely talking about that here in a little bit. But I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on the rating stuff because I do have some thoughts as well. But because I've still been doing the climb or redoing the climb because I kind of was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do whatever. Oh, somebody requested that, let's go. So whoops. But yeah, as far as the Rebabu goes, my point is it's like it's insane at people that are in C rating, and it's also insane. It's even more insane the higher you go. Is kind of my point, if that makes sense.
Oh sure.
Like whereas the
The
Mark
easier
II,
it is for newer players to use, the scarier it is in the hands of someone that knows what they're doing, right?
yeah, that's what I mean. Whereas the Mark II was just kind of it's simple because literally about the only extra thing people at like say C didn't do was use the goop, right? And other than that, it was pretty much it didn't matter where you were. The Mark II was just good, and there wasn't an extra ceiling of.
It just had extra priority in its pocket.
Yeah.
Whereas, like the extra insanity came from the fact that it was like one of the earlier suits to have the full mobility in terms of just like flight control and all this other stuff. So it let you do a lot more maneuvering with not as much vulnerability due to class.
I will say I'm glad that
a lot of maneuvering and shit for it.
I'm glad that the suit has priority too. Lag makes it a little bit weird sometimes. You do that awkward thing where you're priority 3 and you both hit each other and take full damage. But
yeah,
I have out priority to Rebawoo before, so that's kind of cool. You could not do it up to Mark II.
Right.
The bigger thing for the Rebawoo also is that it also has a lot of pretty generous reach, and sometimes its other melee does come out pretty fast.
Oh,
so if you're really good at if you're good at spacing out your stuff, you can just pretty much be like, oh, your turn didn't matter, mine's faster, or like the way that my animation carries out means I can still hit you even if you try to clip me. So it's trading up most of the time.
Sure.
When we were doing community stuff, Aoshi was in the Rebawu and he comboed me like 3 times, like down swings or whatever. You know, he did his beam saber, the Naginata, and then back to the beam saber, and then I thought he had time to shoot me again. I was like,
yeah.
What's this thing?
Aoshi also went super hard in the Mark II, which means you essentially gave him more stuns and an extra melee weapon in the same suit. Like, well, the priority doesn't even matter at that point. You just have more tools.
Yeah, like the swap time just is gross though. Like I'm actually curious if it's faster than usual swap time, like even faster than raids, or maybe the fastest, because it was like, could you maybe get 3 melees off and a shot of something? Like that was insanely fast. But because I was like, okay, I've got a chance. I could maybe live. Smack, smack, smack. Wait, what? Those were 3 different weapons. Help. But yeah, Rebawu, crazy. Any other thoughts?
That's about it. I'm sure most people will probably mold in different groups and stuff until it gets some sort of nerfed or whatever, or watch us find out that they're like, well, it was kind of performing well, and then people were bad in it, so then we just ended up buffing it again anyway, or like decided not to change it.
Rebawu was trending down compared to other generals. What the fuck?
Dude, you know what I would like to do just one time, like just to see what would happen, is if everybody
fuck that up and see if they just
universally,
or something.
Yeah, like if everybody universally from like S all the way down to like A, wherever they're doing it, just universally agreed to just suck in a suit and take a hit to rating.
Just to force a buff.
Just to force a buff on a suit we know is OP.
Just to see if they'll do it.
Just to see if they would do it.
That would be amazing, because at that point, I really want to know if they would try to open up a dialogue, and you know how they have those forums on the JP side, that they can directly kind of communicate it or whatever. I wonder if they would actually do polls and stuff and ask them like, what's going on? Like, we're noticing these really weird trends, and we need some more feedback.
On paper, we made this thing gross. Why is it bad?
Like, what the hell's wrong with you guys? What's going on here? That's a very big hypothetical, but it would be hilarious if we find out that actually got pulled off. I feel like that's something JP side would have to do.
Oh yeah.
Just out of like a sheer curiosity, just to see if they would do it.
But
I will say, Char should have never wasted his time sitting in the Sazabi. He should have upgraded to Rebawu, and the Sinadri's not out yet, but if
it's gonna be like that, but worse.
Like this, like
it's gonna have priority 3 and still be a general. At
the unicorn better be the unicorn better be disgusting. As like, how did the Beneji even stand a chance? Like, it must have been in TD plot armor, man.
Like, kind of nutty melee too, right? Because it also has the tonfas on top of the saber, and then like a really gross rifle for the beam magnum. Like,
oh yeah.
And with latency, you can even get the whole like show experience where the person will miss, but you'll still take damage. So that'd be pretty cool.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Latency is
they're gonna put it as a feature, which means that the latency makes it like a giant cone.
Oh no.
If it even glances near the side of you, like, it's gonna probably make your armor bubble, and then you'll just get a stun because I'm just gonna blow off your fucking suit, or you'll just
Western players gonna be like, I've been training for this moment my entire life. So, yeah.
They had their Russian bias in War Thunder, and then they finally had to get it back in another game.
But then let's see. If any of these stand out or anything you want to say extra, go ahead and mention it. But then we had the Angelo, which had 2 weapons, but the shotgun was kind of cool.
The shotgun was neat. I just like the sheer range and like the tightness of the spread. It actually was stunning people at like good ranges, and that was really funny to see.
You can actually defend yourself against a raid, which is probably the big notable thing for it. But I feel like the damage is a little lacking on the suit.
Yeah, it was definitely more for
I don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
It disappeared very quickly.
If it's secondary weapons or the shotgun actually had more damage to it, it would be gross. It would be an insane support. Because like the Zusa actually has some damage, which they did buff it to give it that damage. So maybe the Angelo is going to get there, but I think it's, a cost higher potential Zusa type thing. Next is the Zeku Ainz Type 1. It has a really cool heavy attack that could do an insane amount of damage, but good luck with that timing on it, and how long you're going to have to stand still stabbing someone 3 times. You're probably, if anybody else is looking at you, you're going to get attacked. Because that animation is huge amount of time. And then we got the Delta Plus. And we already talked about that. Let me go ahead and change it to patch notes. We'll go ahead and go through these real quick. This week's normal suit. They added the Full Armor Mark III, level 2. And you get a chance at the level 1 again. I mistakenly did a spin toward that. So I'm even less tokens than what I would hope to have right now. They're reminder that they're banning people. We got a Doan's Island thing.
So, I like how they actually made the uniforms gender coded in like one item.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if some people would probably be a little bummed about that, but like, yeah.
Oh sure. Oh my god, you're running around in the pink suit.
But the I will say I'm pretty excited for that movie. It's gonna be pretty hype.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Like I saw the preview and I like it. Zoan Zaku Unlimited Mission 1, that'd be amazing. It needs to throw rocks, man.
I agree. We definitely need to get some mobile suits. We were talking about the Doan Zaku being added like for ages now, and this is as good a time as any.
Also, that fucking gym with the missile array and the bazooka from the thing. Like they got some really cool alternate stuff that they've been showing in the previews. Or like that squad that they're gonna drop in has some neat shit too. Oh, try to.
It's a shame when they left Doan's Island. They left all that cool stuff there. I don't know what happened to it.
They left it in the origin universe.
Yeah,
where all the cool shit that makes sense for them to develop for mass production suits actually happened.
Amuro, what happened to that badass GM we had? What are you talking about, Kai?
That guy backed up like a bitch and got killed by a Zaku. That's what happened to it. That shit got iglooed. That's what happened. That guy fucked up bad and they just never did it again.
Killed him so bad he wasn't even in the story anymore, man. It's crazy. We forgot how to make that suit.
It's like, why would I do that again?
Oops.
Stupid.
He got killed by Zaku throwing rocks. Why would we want to use that thing?
That man got shot. Whack.
Zekon seems kind of cool though. I don't have it because I don't get all the new raids.
I have it, and the heavy swing is disgusting. But again, it's at a cost where the Rigazzi exists. So like even for clans, we saw 1 or 2 of them during that week, and then the rest are just Rigazzis. So not that it can't do it, and there are some people who have like, oh man, this just cracked. I had a really good game, and a lot of it's confirmation bias, but it's because they can probably reproduce it, or at least they're hoping they can. And then you get those really cool like video reels of them like downswinging shit for like 10k plus and ridiculous shit, and it's just like, oh, that's so cool. Let me try, and then immediately they either do it or they get fucking ripped and tear themselves, and it's just like, okay. If you're trying to rating climb, you can try to mess with it, I guess, but you should. If you have a Rigazzi, you don't worry about it too much. I'm just happy that they rounded it out. Yeah, I'm happy that they rounded it out, and it's funny that at first glance you're like, man, it's got a really simple kit. But it also isn't as complicated as the other ones that are still suffering and that barely get used. Like I see people use the 3 every once in a while, mostly because it has like a lot of stun resistance while it's on the move. And they just kind of had the flow with the sub bazooka down, so they just do their stuns, get a good slap in there, and maybe just dock at people when they're trying to run at most.
Yeah.
But it's just consistent, and some people just value that. But more often than not, you're just using other things at those costs, especially with when you go higher, you just have like Shiki Kais and shit running around, or Rigazzi customs and whatnot.
Also, as far as the Doan's thing, though, by the way, as far as watching Gundam stuff, I don't have a set thing yet, but I do kind of want to do a viewing party thing. I know a few people have been doing it. I know Emblem, you've been doing that. You did that earlier today, right?
Yep. We totally were not watching anything though, because
that's illegal.
Oh yeah. I'll just be watching stuff that's on like Gundam Info, and
I held up doodles that I drew of anime in front of my camera, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's what happened." I was like, "Yeah."
They're just taking a bunch of screenshots from their recording. Yeah.
Now,
Take a look at
Fumi-sama,
this.
you have to flee.
Oh no.
Raftalia, you are chibi small raccoon girl now.
You just had their fucking pictures bop up and down.
Oh no.
Yes.
By the way, though, I have not been more
I would
like
never stream it.
I've not been more kind of
ever.
meh about a season 2. I don't know why. I'm just kind of meh about this season. Like they finally
So
got
for
to some
Guild Heroes?
exciting
Gotta
stuff,
get-
but yeah, I don't know.
I was gonna say someone should get a job John cut out and just put it over the camera. That man's fully voiced and everything, man. Let's go.
I know,
yeah.
right?
Watching Gundam things in the future. Yeah. Discord.
It's gonna happen. Ooh.
Anyway, new map. Let's go to talk about the new map.
Yeah, I'm fighting on it right now. Eventually, when these guys are ready up. Hurry up!
So the actual military base that's good, the supply depot.
Now just take that, make it somehow just as big, if not a little bit bigger in some ways, and then put an underground thing that gets people lost and killed by support fire, and also anything that has like a big radius. Oh my god, that map is hilarious, but also a fucking mess. And it's funny because we say new map, but it's a new old map. Because
Yeah,
it's
it's
actually
new old
another
map.
one that they brought back from GBO. Which I think most of these are. Are there?
Military base was brought back from GBO1 as well.
I think most of the ground ones are. Well, of course, it's space
Mountain-
because it's new.
yeah.
So
Yeah, Mountain was like a reimagining of a GBO1 map.
Yeah.
I think Jungle's new. Obviously, a underwater military port is new.
Mhm.
But I mean, this has the extra verticality that military base kind of
Mhm.
needs, and you can get on buildings just as effective, if not better, because
Mhm.
of
It's
you've
also
got
really
extra
littered
angles.
with cover.
Yeah,
you
there's,
can even get onto cliffs.
that's the
But
thing. It's
it being littered
with
with cover
good
also
cover.
means that it's just shit for you to run into when you're trying to run away from people. Or, you know,
Yeah.
accidentally boosting into holes because they're not really indicated on the map that well.
Whoa! You gotta watch that step.
That's one of my favorite parts. I'm just like, I'm coming to save you.
Where am I going? What happened?
Whoops. I don't believe in gravity today. Help!
Whee!
Yeah. My mobile suit's boosting. Why is it falling down?
Like,
But
I see Gustav getting attacked. Gustav, I'm coming to save you.
Ah!
It's just like in those fucking animes, just like,
Gustav!
eh, and then everything just goes quiet.
I hope you're okay up there. I'll be up
everybody in the fight just kind of stops and looks at the pit and just keep fucking down swinging Magnum like
Oh yeah. I follow the pit. I'm like, Gustav, I'm coming to save you. Help! Oh no! There's a ray down here.
But,
Help me!
I've heard a lot of complaints about people getting lost in the tunnels.
Someone
Hopefully that's just a
actually on the
growing pain.
JP side just drew the map and just
Mhm.
have a
I
map
saw
because
on
they got
Twitter.
tired of it. Like, for fuck's sake, here, this is what it is. Figure it out.
I don't know,
It's
like
just
I've
one of those things where like doing it
Mhm.
early on seems a little rough if you're not organized about it because you
Mhm.
can just go on your own adventures and
Oh,
just wind up somewhere you're really not useful in.
oh sure.
Yeah, it's
I keep having like fucking underground like arena brawls down there, man. Like the real shit happens in the tunnels. You'll like try
Yeah.
to take the support and like you kill them and drop into the tunnel and you just like look up and like fucking two generals just like drop down in there and they're like fuck.
Underground
no,
fights
that's-
are very make or break. Like you're just like,
Mhm.
I'm just trying to get through. I just wanted to get a juice or some shit. What are you coming down here for? Leave me alone. And then the
Wrong
entire
side of
team's like, oh
military
man,
base."
they're in there. Oh shit, we gotta fight. It's underground battles. And then you just like jump up like several thousand or like lose several thousand points because people are just chain killing people that are trying to jump in like a
Mhm.
battle royale. And it's like, why though? Stay up there and just wait.
Yeah.
I mean, that literally
I
is
feel like
me
when-
when I fall down. I look up and there's always a raid looking at me like, for real though. It's like, you know, back to what we just said. It's literally, Gustav, I'm coming to help you. Ah!
Yeah, woo!
Oh gosh, help me! Somebody, please come down here.
And then they all see you like, ooh, piece of candy.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's just looking at the hole as they hear Magnum screams. Help! Ah!
Yeah, I know yesterday I was playing for Mariki and I was in the Delta Plus and it always seems to be the case, but I was I actually think it was a general, but I was down in the tunnel and I was fighting fucking 2 guys and just like fight for my life, and I killed one of them, but got by the other finally, and then you get out and then the team's like losing, and I was like, what happened?
You know what's better than Magnum screams? What?
Oh, no.
Poogers. Oh god.
Boogers?
What?
No, poogers.
Pooger? Oh, like PogChamp or
Yeah.
Poggers? Oh, I see.
Oh.
Age
yeah.
is just being a gremlin in chat.
Oh, sure. Noob someone's being a Twitch troll.
Noob-sama.
YouTube flavored this time. Wow.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I will say, new map though, really good. Really good. I like it. I'm a big
I don't
fan.
hate it.
I
love it for higher cost for transformation stuff, and then low cost I don't like it. Unless we're getting into a good fight in underground, but like at that point, just give me an underground map. Just
I feel you there.
that isn't so horrendous as the actual underground map that we have.
I was on some 400s and 450s earlier today, and like it can be a little bit weird. We had some match where like people were just splitting up and getting lost and all sorts of crazy shit, man.
Yeah, people just keep finding these weird nooks to be in where they can actually fight and want to fight there, and then they just don't follow. There's no murder balls sometimes, and the team that does it, as usual, is just like overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there is a little
bit of that
crazy
because like this map is huge, and a lot of the cover is kind of just like kind of defeated by the verticality of some of the buildings, especially the big building at mid.
Oh yeah, and people capping that is weird.
Yeah, because they tried to enclose them because they knew the map was too open. Because people were just going to hit them from downtown when they're in there. So they had to close it up to make sure that the pilots could just like fight among themselves.
I will say, every time you call in artillery, no matter where you're at, and you call in your suit's like 5 years away.
Yeah.
For real. Dude, it sucks. When you call your suit from the spawn point on the building, they drop that bitch on the ground. Like, you have to fly all the way down to go get it. It's so fucking lame.
That's probably my one complaint about the map is...
Yeah, Gym Sniper 2 gets to live like rent-free, which is another thing. Like, it's interesting. This is one of the first times I think that they've actually put a cap point on a building.
Yeah.
And like not near the building.
Mm-hmm.
And people get over there. It's like, oh, I want to do a sniper's nest. It's nowhere near mid, and that's where everyone starts to go because they want to do the NASCAR around the big building in the middle. And you have people that their brain starts to itch because they see the fucking little holes that they can get into for the underground. It's like, I gotta do something with this, or I don't want to be up here anymore. And there's too much distraction for people.
Yeah, it's another one of those. I will say it still has that same problem that on when people are like, I want to snipe. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stand behind this building.
It just feels like a really weird map where people are like chasing serotonin instead of actually fighting.
I feel you there. People like their shooty suits. We had a Nemo with the under rail cannon that just sat on top of a warehouse the entire game.
Yeah, like I saw a JP video where it's like the base where you have a bunch of like mountain stuff and rocks on the side, and they were showing that you could stand up there on one of the little lips, and if you're in something with extreme range like a gunner Gundam or some shit, you can actually fire like all the way across the map pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not a suggestion because it's not going to be a spot that lasts very long if the rest of your team moves up. But it is doable, and my thing is that there's probably going to be a lot of people that just kind of wander off in the initial like takeoff that start doing shit like that. So you're going to have to watch out and just really know where people are because there's just a lot of detours and shit that people can make. And until people learn the map and the meta starts to really kick in for like NASCAR or certain routes, it's going to be a fucking mess.
I know I was having to deal with actually someone from chat doing it, but I had to deal with somebody up in that spot when I was playing the Dullahan. It wasn't too bad. Like as long as you have a raid that can push out some decent damage from a distance, it's not the hardest thing to deal with. It's just if anybody shows up while you're trying to deal with it, or you get stunned too hard or something. But the shame that the map has the ring around a rosy thing that all the other ones do, but I just don't think we can escape that, unfortunately.
Yeah. I will say one thing I'm curious about, I guess kind of my last thought, because I really like this map. It's been fun to Dom Barrage. It's been fun to support on. I will say it's like with the other map, it's kind of annoying to support on because everything's just flat, right? With military base, it's just flat.
Yeah.
The raid has a easy direction to you, and they're going to jump up. This one, you have a bit more, variety of where you can hide, what you can hide on, where you can hide around. You can drop in a hole to maybe save your life if they're on top. Yes, they're going to drop down with you, but maybe you're jumping up at the same time they drop down, so you kind of pass each other, or you can go around and go up the ramp. There, you can do a little bit of a ring around the whatever till the general. Hopefully, if they're looking at you, can you can dance a little bit. But otherwise, though, it's got better verticality. And it just feels better to play as a support. So that's one reason why I like it especially over military base. This is what I wanted military base to kind of be, is kind of my thing. But I will say, with what you were saying as far as just the people getting lost, team games though, I can't wait to see clan ranked on this, because you can be like, okay, we're going to do a snipe comp. We're going to set up on this building. We're going to set back here. We're going to be at that rock that you were talking about. We're going to, go underground only, and then if one team's doing a snipe and you get the lead, you just pull back and be like, okay, push me. There's a lot
I feel like
of things
you wouldn't see that at high level clans, because you would still you would lack the momentum you need to push high scores.
That's the other problem, is the high score thing. But I mean, even if you do the snipe, well, the reason why I think the snipe one kind of wins, because one team, hopefully, is probably not just going for the win, they're going for the high score. So if you're the team that's going for the high score and we're letting you make the first move, we can capitalize on that. Like, that's one thing that happened on the desert map when we were playing. There was a team that was playing snipers, and they just kind of caught us off guard, and we went in and we were like, oh, we got to go to their base, because they just kept spawning at their base and waiting there on the hill. We just pretty much snipe us down any chance they got. And it was an interesting game, and by the end, we both teams had a pretty high score. But the thing is, we were wanting that score. We were trying to break the top 100, so we were like, go, 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 we got to push, and it was a little weird. So I feel like the stand back strat does work, because if one team is going for that score, then they have to push either way, whether they're
it
winning or
implies
losing.
that you already got a good wipe in the beginning, though. Like, you
Maybe.
really have to win that first engagement to force them to move, because even if they want the points, they're just gonna wait for you to fuck up then. And even if not, especially if they're on a team that has multiple teams running, then they'll just prevent the win. If they'll just push in a little bit and then just go from there, or just make sure that it's not a high score regardless. Because there was a couple people that were doing that, and in practice, it kind of makes sense, especially if you just have a lot of people who can't help but run supports, or just don't have a lot of ability for melee or whatever. Because a lot of our group, I wouldn't say they're necessarily support mains, but there are a lot of people that just prioritize shooting and stuff. But we were running into teams, I think either last match or the match before, and they actually were irritating some people by just trying to play far back on Tropical Desert.
Yeah, that's what we were running into, is a lot of people just playing back at their base.
Not even base, but just on the other
around A and stuff, or
the other side and stuff. Yeah, they just weren't engaging at E specifically, and were just kind of propped up at the the first point. And to a lot of people, that's just viewed as throwing.
Oh yeah.
So they would still get stomped. They just wouldn't get stomped as hard, and it was just a waste of time for both teams.
I mean, I don't know. We've had people run at us though, just because, and because they're trying to catch back up, or they're trying to go for the score. And I don't know. Maybe it's just where we're playing at the A, but we had, I think, a 1A+ team that was still doing the same kind of thing. So I think it's still doable to get top 100 that way, just because one team's going to be pushing hard. Because either, I don't know, I feel like there is that mentality of the standoff, but at the same time, if one team's really going for it, especially in the last half, and they're still trying to push, they have to push. So
yeah, I guess I just wonder how consistent it would be.
Yeah, like in that push, they'd have to have a really bad case of shit to the brain. Like you're really hoping that not only are they aggressive, but that they're also making mistakes, and it's a lot of factors that have to have line up.
Well, I don't mean like a
not
full
only
support
effective,
team,
but
though.
like maxed out. No, I
Yeah,
know.
I don't think you do.
Okay.
But I'm just talking about like still staying at range as opposed to just being aggressive, like taking E and making sure that you're just like doing the usual pushes and stuff.
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go back, but I think they still had like a 12,000 game. Like one of us got around 12,000, so it was still pretty.
12,000 at that cost, like you'd have to get pretty high to higher than that to really try to stay either in top 100 or like past that for if you're trying to go like top 40.
Yeah, most of our
unless
games,
unless you're hitting like A+ average, which means you would get like that extra little bit of like pointage. Like 12K is like we get those and we're like, well, we won, but we need to go higher.
Yeah, that's what we were saying too. Because like, but what was crazy, I think the highest that we saw that night was maybe 13 at best, and that was kind of the problem. Like most of the games were taking too long. People were waiting too long to spawn in as a group, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Let's spawn together, and it's like, nah, you gotta stall and try to get damage and just hope that the rest start to go in there and just keep it consistent. You really do have to have like a mutual understanding of like just raw aggression to get those high ones. It's also why some people speculate that they may even not necessarily throw at the top 10 rate, but they're just like full like shit to brain, just trying to do like routes and stuff.
Oh yeah, like I wouldn't doubt it. Because some of those scores is kind of insane. Like I'm like, how is this? How is it going one way or the other? That they're
that
getting
hard,
this,
at that average,
because
consistently,
like,
because they gotta do it 3 times.
And the thing is, I mean, maybe it's frowned upon for the way I do it, but I'll call okay guys, let's wait to spawn, especially when we're losing.
Yeah.
Let's spawn together. Let's work on teamwork this game. Kind of thing, right? Because let's come up with a strat to beat whatever we're losing to, and then that way, and that's what we kind of run it. And yes, we're burning a minute or two, but we've probably already lost that game anyway, which might be a dick move to the enemy team because they're only getting 8,000 to 10,000 that game at best.
Well, I mean, like win prevention is also still like a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
especially when you're running multiple teams, like if you don't think you're doing that well, you at the same time just by trying to force the win.
I wonder how much of a frowned upon thing that is. But
it definitely irritates people.
All's fair in war and war.
Yeah, we had a weapon one time, a long time ago. We were close to being top 3 in one of our clan matches in the past. It's super frustrating.
Yeah, I definitely call for guys. Don't spawn. Don't give them points. But anyway, the new map is good. Moving on though, we got a few more things.
Buffs and nerfs, right?
Yeah, we can go ahead and skip the ticket shop stuff. It's already, but they just what they did. Cubulate Mark II is now in the DP store. Is the big one there, and Night Seeker Space Type is in the RT shop. And then at the beginning of next month, the Schneid is going to be a thing. See if the English one updated. If not, then I can't remember what the other two are. Shiki Full Armor Shiki Kai is the second section of the month, and then Methus Kai is the third. Oh, that's the level 2, by the way, of the Full Armor Shiki Kai. And then, there's a bug right now. Don't go on the next to the area, the high bridge. Yeah, it's the high bridge of Arctic Base, where the shadow is. Don't fall over there, or you're gonna be stuck falling for days and days.
Is it like another port base situation?
Yeah, you can get stuck there. They're trying to fix that before next patch or whatever.
Well, one thing that I briefly mentioned for the new map is that there's actually a lot of places where you can get support fired underground, and similarly for suits that have the explosive rounds, like the heavy or whatever, if you get close enough, some of the puffs will actually get through and hit people. There's someone that actually clutched a game. There's a clip that I found where they clutched a game with a heavy doga by doing the explosive round out of a cannon when someone was beneath them, and it actually hit them and finished them off.
Also, by the way, on a side note, they decided to say all supports that are flying can get knocked out of the sky easy, get wrecked.
Did they just say that in
I
one of
might
the
have
changes?
I might have paraphrased that a little bit, but yeah, they didn't, because everybody's just like, the transform flight skill had expression by the description that these suits have non-equipped skill. So, you know, but now it's like, yeah, they can get wrecked in the sky, unlike other transforming suits. So yeah, get wrecked supports. I hate to see it. But
as a feature, not a bug, as intended.
Clan ranked
to get shit on.
700 next week. So that'll be hype. Is that the 4v4? How close are we to the 4v4?
I think this. Yeah, I think the.
No, it's
the
the one
next one's
after. It's the
Space, but
600.
It's the one after it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 11th. Okay.
So we're skipping space for the 4v4 this time.
And then the rating change, or the bug. If we want to quickly kind of talk about that, I am curious what you meant, because for me, I've always said that the rival system is silly to have for any kind of ranked mode if you're going to actually have a ladder. And it, as far as it goes, it skews the game a little bit. And even when they showed the curve way back when it was, what, B+ was the highest, or A- was the highest, or whatever. Like, even when they showed that curve, like, it had a lot of people in D- and a lot of people in A+, and there was a dip and then like a little hill in the middle. Whereas most curves kind of have a big hill toward the middle and then it tapers off. So
the bigger part of that too is just a lot of people doing quick matches are just not bothering with rated that much. Like, there are a lot of people, even out of streamers, who aren't necessarily new, that just barely touch it, because to them, like, rated is still the same as ranked, and ranked is sweaty, and they just don't want to bother. That's just competitive, like, community or like game kind of shit, right? The same for anything else.
But what did you mean kind of by your comment earlier, like, as far as like the change, you know, getting rewarded for doing better kind of thing? What's your thoughts on the rival system, Gustav?
There's just been a lot of frustration about, like, you know, losing out on actually climbing faster, because, like, oh, you don't drop as much. Well, people are already going to be mad about dropping, but now they don't have a chance to actually go up faster by actually getting their good games, right? So you get your first place overall and you have your high scores and stuff, and it just doesn't matter, because that upper echelon for the different ranges all just matches out to 3 as opposed to like 7 or whatever it was before. So you're just climbing just as slow as you're falling, and you sometimes, depending on what's going on, you're just kind of caught in even more, what is it you called it? Elo hell or whatever before?
Yeah,
like rival system to a certain degree. Yeah, like rival system to a certain degree was actually counteracting that. And now it's just not. And the bigger thing is that there are solutions to addressing it. Wasn't to get rid of it, which I think is what people would probably prefer regardless. It was just to make it less significant, which also just made the climb and fall slower. And it's just like, why?
But it's
so they had that flub earlier in the update, right, where it was actually back to normal. So there are a lot of people that got caught into a match before they changed, where if they would have actually been there, and it was two-sided, right? So there were some people that lost really bad, where they kind of wish that the change came back before then, because they wouldn't have lost as many points. And there are some people that had really great games where they climbed up really hard, and it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to kiss doing that again goodbye, because they're actually changing it after this. You know, when they got yeeted back out of the game and then had to go back in.
Well, my thing is I kind of went for the score because I was losing, so I'm like, I'm gonna go for the rival win, and I only lost 4 points for a loss.
Right, and that's the other thing too, because like,
but
you can
that's what's dumb about it. Like,
in the new system, it doesn't counteract it as much either.
But that's my problem with it, is like, I'm literally, it's like, again, the thing I like bring it up is like, it's like playing fantasy football, only you're picking yourself. So you can game how many points you get by playing just for the score.
Yeah.
Right? So like, I played just for the score so that I didn't lose any points, but that's not going to win the game. Because I was like, okay, the game's probably over. Let's push for the score, which is dumb.
funny because like what immediately when we got into a competitive mode for clans, that's exactly what you're doing regardless.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I don't like about
And
it.
that's a whole different mentality on top of that. But you have to have a top 100. Someone has to win, so you still have to have that. Because otherwise, how are you going to evaluate it?
Well, I mean, that as far as like the ladder goes and ranking, like just win the game, like that should be the only goal. Not
Well, that
I'm
would
gonna
imply that it would have to be
stun
like tournament
enemies.
style at that point. Like it would be a lot more drawn out as opposed to just doing it over a span of 2 hours and just getting a good average.
Oh well, yeah. As far as the clan rank thing, I think there can be some changes
Yeah.
there for sure. But like,
outside of the rival stuff, like I get it, it's frustrating, but I think the reality that we've seen now, especially with this flub, is that the rival system's not going anywhere, and the lesser of two evils, outside of just people who have really rough losing streaks, because I definitely have those, and it has been a little less brutal to get back in afterwards. But it also means you're working as hard, if not a little bit harder, to actually make up that losing streak, as to where you can have a lot of factors going on with the older rival system that can kind of negate that regardless. And if you have really good games, you can also climb back up a little bit faster. And I'm not even talking about like just trying to push to like another rank. I'm just talking about maintaining at that point.
I will say right now, I feel like I'm able to maintain decently well. Like even with some bad matches mixed in, like it definitely is a crawl, but beforehand where I would have like really good streaks and kind of tip the iceberg, getting back in S minus, and then it's kind of fall back. Now it just kind of seems like as long as you can maintain probably like a above 50% win rate, right? You shouldn't have too much trouble climbing. It's just going to be a little bit of a grind. And honestly, but maybe that could be by design as well. They want to get people to play the game more, possibly.
I mean,
right?
but the people who they cater to tend to be the people who have been playing this for like 3+ years already. They played the game enough, and a lot of the time it's kind of just said as such. We're excited for new suits, right? And there are still people who go hard for clans and stuff like that, but it's also just it's getting long in the tooth now. So busting people's balls to get out there more, especially if they introduce like flat S after a certain point. That's gonna be a rough climb too.
I mean,
depending, and that's also gonna skew some of the averages and stuff for clan matches and all that too, because they're gonna have to factor in for all that. There's already a lot of higher preferential treatment for like A+ to S-, or just like a huge gap between, and like A pretty much means nothing now.
But I think it should be a pretty harsh grind, like as far as if they do introduce S, and kind of here's kind of my example of why the rival system was dumb. I could pretty much have made it to S- in space super easy before they did one change, which was I think more targeted to the missions more than anything. But base damage doesn't count toward missions, which also means it doesn't count toward personal score or anything, or not personal score, but total damage. I could pretty much just do the Xeon cheese, and if we lost, I beat my rival. If we won, I beat my rival. So every time I was beating my rival, and I would not if I and I wasn't even like sometimes it could be bad, right? Like nobody was paying attention to me. Well, then I just had top damage, but I didn't really do anything to actually help the team other than kill the base, which is about 5 or 6 kills depending on the time that it blows up. But at the same time, I didn't really do anything to turn the tide. There wasn't 3 people trying to shoot me at the base at the same time, and I was kiting them around for a full minute and a half to 2 minutes or whatever, right? While my team was winning, and then we just curb stomped them. Like that, if that doesn't happen, then the cheese is kind of a bad strat. But before the base damage change, like it was super easy win in the Xeon for me because I just go and and the reason why I say win is even on a loss, I may be losing 7 points. If I lost 11, I would get at least +4, easy, just about every time. And then if I got, at a certain point, it would be like if I really stomped and we were super stomping, then it was +7 on a win. So it was either like, so I would maybe lose 7 or I'd get like 17. Like, and that was super consistent.
Right.
And
like that's one of those like exceptional kind of things where it's just like this is a way to game the system that still kind of contributes. And it's kind of going back to what you were talking about earlier with the idea of like people gaming the system and not really playing together.
But that's the problem with having a rival system in the first place, is you can always game it a little bit. Now this time it's pretty much negligible. So if you're gaming the system, you're probably hurting yourself, because you might get 1 point even if you've destroyed your rival. So there's no reason to try to game it anymore. Now it's just win the game, which should be the goal of most players in the first
place. Which, I mean,
place.
that just means there's minimal effort as well. Like at that point, you're just doing what it takes, and you're probably just doing meta even harder. So, I mean, it depends on what you want out of the game, I guess.
But
that's what I was talking about earlier when it means like, why even worry about the placement and stuff for like trying hard in those matches if all you have to do is just like get through it. So it kind of just takes a lot of the effort out. You might as well just do the brain dead thing and just stick to what works, especially if you're doing rated, which obviously to people who just rated grind for pretty much a living, like that's just common sense. But I feel like that kind of kills it for a lot of people, and that's kind of where the griping comes from, because something that was already a bit of a slog because of like the randoms aspect has become an even longer slog, and people just are annoyed by it.
Okay, I could see that then. Yeah, that makes it a little bit more sense. That's what I was kind of confused about from earlier. I was like, wait, what? But okay, that makes a bit more sense. Cool. Okay, slight tangent, but it was on topic at least. Oh, I've still got the thing saying new map. Whoop. Oh well. Buffs and nerfs. So, last month, real quick, I'm just going to go through them. If anything stands out crazy and you guys want to comment, then go ahead. Feel free to interrupt me. But I'm going to try to go through this quick. Luckily, we don't have that many to go through on the thing. We've already kind of talked about some of them. But White Dingo, one of the most interesting ones, is they just reverted their change where they were trying to buff it.
Yeah.
And what I find most interesting on these numbers is everything went up closer to average, but its survivability went up. Now I'm curious if one of those correlations, not causation, blah 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 things. I wonder if that might be the problem, though. It's not that it was the weapon; it's that people were able to walk around with a charge and be like, "I'm up in your face."
I wonder if I could fire this here, and then no, it's still a bad idea because you're like a mid to long suit still. Don't do that.
And they're
now,
like,
that being said, people were treating it that way even when it was a stop to fire, right? People were like, that were actually really good with the suit, were pretty aggressive, and would just kind of mid-range do it so that they could downswing you, and just were treating it like a insta-stun rifle. Which makes it even funnier because now it's like, oh, so me moving with it actively and making it more obvious is actually more dangerous, even though they're still technically fighting the same way if they're doing really well in the suit.
Yeah, so survivability went up. I think that's more of a issue. I just wonder if they went back to the new change, which for me, I thought it felt good to walk around with it, but I wonder if they just went back and then gave it a little bit more health, if that's what it needed, rather than them just changing it. But I don't know.
That'd be nice.
I guess we'll see. The thing is that's kind of concerning though is most of its damage and stuff, it got pretty close to average on a lot of these things. So I'm curious if they're like, oh, well, it's fine then.
Yeah, it's weird because it's one of those things that became a meme. It was like underperforming, so they buff it. Underperforms again, so they just debuff it, or just change the buff and essentially nerf it.
Here we go.
Now it just kind of seems like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, main range weapon, L beam, blah blah blah. Method of use of the change is before the adjustment. Possible to focus only. Okay, resulting in various results being improved. However, since the actual result are below the expectations, further is adjustment inspections will be held. Okay, So they got more about the balance report. They had an extra thing under it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they are still looking at it. Is the main thing. Okay.
Yeah, if they did that and then dropped it, people would be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Right.
That
Barzam
being
Kai
said,
looking good.
stuff like that, I know it's just one suit and it's not a super big deal, but like I kind of wish they would do more social media about shit like that and explain
Right.
it more outside of just doing it on some of these like articles and stuff. Because no one outside of us doing it on the podcast or people like nitpicking in different like calls and shit, like no one really gives a shit. They're not gonna look at that. They're
Right.
just gonna see the change, be like, why, and then laugh about it with people.
But next we have the Barzam Kai. That definitely helped out. Feels a bit better. GM and the Zaku getting parts definitely helped them at their cost. Kind of fun. Try it out. Dom Tropin is insane. Go play it now. Gelgoog Marine Commander type. Every stats actually went down.
It's because more people are playing it. The suit's still a trash can. Like it's been power creeped. It's plays the game fair. The Gogu beam rifle, like.
Well, I mean, it's got above average stats for wind damage and everything else, but it went down because I guess more people that don't play the suit are playing the suit. Whereas the people who play it are like carrying those stats, whoever's playing it. Moon Gundam got a slight buff. Seems to do pretty good.
Idiot.
Vargil got a buff. Looks pretty good now. Still a little bit under on some of the damage numbers and some of the rival win rates, but pretty solid. Striker Custom is insane now. Go play it. It's pretty gross. GM Striker Kai. Oh, wow, I didn't. Okay. Looks pretty good, actually. Jarja is insane. Go play it. Dewaj also feels insane, except for probably a lot of people who don't play it decided to play it, and all the stats went down. Oops.
It's tough being a raid, man.
I mean, like, literally everything went down. It's like, we gave it a grenade to help it stun more. All stats down.
Like, damn.
Like, you can actually, what's really cool about it is you can pull the tomahawk. Dog.
Oof. You go, dog aggro, no.
Oof.
Drop the tomahawk.
Combo by your dog.
Yeah, I got melee I got stun locked by my dog. But yeah, you can like throw the grenade and tomahawk while the grenade is flying at them, and if it hits, you just scoop to whoop them out of existence. Like, it's pretty cool. Especially on a support. Like, that is one of my favorite things to do to a support. Throw a grenade, then go for the tomahawk, and then it hits, and then you just knock them over or erase them most of the time. So yeah, pretty cool. I wonder if it's one of those things. Oh, wait, more about the balance. Ooh, hang on.
This man's
increase the
deep.
range tactics, but at the same time also change the difficulty of operating, resulting in a decrease in various results. Other than that, its result is being targeted by the enemy units without having a chance to bring out all of the specs that might lead to decrease in win rate. So, this is the win rate of all ranks went down.
Oh,
and all levels. All levels. Sorry, all levels. I was thinking that might have been ranks, but levels meaning each level of the suit. We refrain from making any immediate adjustments. Another adjustment will be considered after more data is collected. So they're probably going to do the higher rank. They better not
take away that fucking grenade.
Oh my goodness! If they take away the grenade, I'm going to rage.
Right.
But like, I'm curious if they're like in 1 or 2, like next month, we might get a thing saying, okay, we looked at like S- players and they're also losing, so we're going to buff it again. And I'm going to be like, yes, I love the Dewaj.
Yeah, I need to start playing it more, maybe if that's the case.
But yeah, support type stuff. White Rider got a buff. It actually looks pretty good for stats on paper. I'm surprised. I was laughing at these buffs, but okay, maybe not. Who knows? Mass Production Cubile is insane. Go try it. Lots of fun. Lots of damage. Lots of tank now. Survivability still a little bit below average, but got a lot better because now you take 30% less damage. Problem is, with raids still just kill you the same, especially heavy attacks. But that was last month. This month, GM Spartan for general. We only got like 2 generals, I think. GM Spartan gaining 1,000 health. High speed movement going up to 190 from 185. Thruster gauge going up to 60 from 55, and turn speed going up to 60 from 57. Have you guys played much of the GM Spartan? And what do you guys think about the suit? Because it seems to have good damage. Survival is about the only thing that it's lacking on, and the win rate is pretty close to average. So I'm kind of surprised to see it.
People have been pretty positive about it, but I haven't really gotten a chance to run it myself.
Yeah.
So for that one, I'm kind of mad about it. It seems pretty good when I see it. I don't know.
Agent's played it a lot. He says buffs are good. He's been enjoying it.
The next one, and then I'm gonna see what my dog wants because he's going crazy right now. Duas Custom. This, I feel like it still needs something more because the stagger accumulation on the grenade still kind of is meh. If you want to, I know it's 4 ticks before you stun, but if you want to pull that up, Emblem. But the HP went up by 2,000, which is pretty awesome actually. But I still feel like the suit's missing something. Speed is increased to 125, turning speed to 63. That was a 5 increase and a 3 increase. It gained special leg buffer level 2 instead of level 1, and at level 2 it gained level 3 instead of level 2. The bazooka ratio went from 90% to 80%, and the downswing got increased in damage. And yeah, if you guys want to comment on that one, I'll be right back. Oh, also on a side note, the actual stats were crazy low. Rival win rate 35%, where the average is 50%. Win rate 46%, where the average is 50%, and damage 49,000 to 60,000. Anyway, I'll be back.
Well, that's below the average.
Oh, and almost a whole 1 suit loss over the average. Now I'll be back.
So they made the Magnum said it, but they made the heat consumption 10% less, so it's 80 from 90. Downswing modifier got increased by 10%, so it's 140. And the grenades got a 5% increase to the stagger value per tick. So, like Magnum said, this takes 4, where it would have taken 5 before.
Nice.
That's kind of interesting, though. Like an anti-raid tool. I feel like you just use it for kind of like zone protection or something. Or, I don't know, I guess it'd be good if you're going to rush down.
Okay, back.
Welcome back, Magnum.
Did you go to
yeah, I just talked about it, but stagger ratio increased by 5%.
What is it now?
25 from 20.
Oh, okay. So that's okay. So it's just 1 tick. I don't know. I feel like that needs to be more, but because you don't have anything else that really builds up. You have your shotgun, but that normally, if you hit, you're gonna stun them. You don't need anything else with that. But yeah,
I don't know. Maybe the it could just be that the grenade was it meant to stop like a fast moving target as well? Like maybe we're just supposed to get a couple of ticks. Because I mean,
I think it's more for the radar.
Maybe, yeah.
But maybe the beam bazooka just needs more damage. But yeah. Anything else for the Dewas? I think it needs something else though, even with these buffs. Personally,
that's interesting. Yeah, because I mean, I think honestly, just looking at the beam bazooka, the idea was probably to just, if you throw a grenade at somebody, you just shoot them with the beam bazooka because it has 80%. So it's 20, assuming at least 1 tick hits, and then you're stopping like most things at that cost, except for like maybe a handful of suits.
Well, raids now have the maneuver armor too most of the time, so even if you're like, you'd already insta-stun most things, like generals and support you're gonna stop. Raids, if it was meant to stop them, you still don't stop them.
Well, the 5% should cover that, right?
Does it?
Well, it's only maneuver armor, like high level maneuver armor only gives you a stagger reduction. It doesn't increase your threshold or anything. I
Yeah,
mean, I guess it's kind of technically the same thing, but
But
it
that's what
should
I'm
make up
saying.
the
Like,
difference, right?
it's still less, right? Because isn't it like
Yeah.
isn't it? How much of a reduction is it? I thought it was like.
It's like 3% or something. I can
Oh, is
look.
it only
I
3%?
don't
Okay,
recall.
then that might be enough then. But
Extreme scrolling.
but if it's a bit more than that, then they need a bit more. But yeah, if it is enough to stun a maneuver armor 2 if you hit the grenade, then beam bazooka, then that should be fine. Other than that though, if nothing else for the DWAS custom, we can go ahead and hop in the raids. But yeah, let me know when you find that. But we got the Rigazee.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you take 80% of stagger, so it's more like 20%.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was thinking it was like
less.
30.
Okay.
But yeah, so even then, if you're losing 20%, that's a pretty big deal. That's 16% off the bazooka. So yeah, that's definitely not enough. You need to have like 2 ticks, maybe a third even. Which that thing ticks really slow. That's the other thing. Like most suits, I only get like 1 if they're boosting through it. I get like 1, maybe 2 if I'm lucky. So that's what I was saying. I feel like it needs to be like 35, 40. But anyway, yeah, I definitely think we're gonna still see it being like below, for sure. But Rigazee, lost 1,000 health. I'm expecting another 1,000 because I still think they missed. But bullet amount for the beam rifle went from 8 to 7 and increased the cooldown to 7 seconds from 6. That's actually pretty big.
Boo.
But then, and the weapon change time was adjusted too, so I'm guessing they made it slower. That's actually...
I can find out.
That's a big oof. So yeah, that could be pretty rough. And then the reload for the arm grenade is 13 seconds from 10, which kind of what Gustav was saying is it had a lot of utility for how it can get in there and get its attacks off. So I still think the heavy attack's the problem, but if they're going to make it the heavy attack thing and have it try to escape, I'm guessing we might see 1 more tick of the health, because I still don't think that's enough. I still think it's going to be, win rate's going to be well above average. We might see it die a couple more times, if anything. But yeah, I still feel like it's still doing its job too well. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's kind of a light tap on the wrist compared to other things.
But
it increased the switch time by half a second. So it was what, 1 second? Now it's 1.5.
I think similarly to the Mark II though, like how it also got some light taps on the wrist, like it'll just get outdone by other stuff that gets put in that cost range. It's just gonna take some time.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, like the Gunner Gundam, and then they never look at it again, and all Gunner Gundam mains cry.
I was talking about this earlier during my stream, but I would like to have them release these types of stats that they do during the patch notes just for all the current suits in the game, just to see how they're performing and stuff. I'd like to be able to see how
I'd
stuff
like
is
to
doing.
give them more work by having them number crunch an entire 300 plus suits.
Yes, please.
Well, I mean, they have the stats.
There has to be
running.
something in place to get it.
Yeah,
get it
all they have
available.
to do is just like click on an Excel spreadsheet and just fill the table. Like that's they're tracking all the data. They just gotta they could automate that pretty easily.
Go ahead and do it then, and we can hire you for the wiki.
No, not in the wiki. The developers.
No, yeah, I know. I'm just joking.
Oh, I gotcha.
But we have what is it? A1 steak sauce next, getting a buff. Enhanced tackle went to level 4, which is nice. Consecutive attack, we already talked about that. The level 2 power of the beam sabers went up by 115, which is pretty insane actually. And then the ratio for the beam cannons on the hip went to 34%, and the stagger accumulation went up. I'm curious on that number if you got that. And you can now fire it, essentially what that means is 4 times in a row at a support, general, whatever. And so pretty much you can, from what I've seen, I haven't been able to not stun anything with all 4 shots. So I think this one's going to be kind of insane, actually. Like, it's pretty close to average, but I think it's going to be decently above or really close. For the especially if the people that are maining it are going to be hopping in there. This is actually a crazy buff for steak sauce players.
So the changes, we talked about it earlier actually when we were comparing to Delta Plus, but like we said earlier, the second swing is now a 70% damage attack, and the third is 49% according to this. So pretty still in half of a normal swing, which is pretty relevant. But the stagger rate for the hip beams went from 30% to 35.
Okay.
Times 2.
That's not bad. That's insanely solid. Especially with a force shot, that is gross, actually.
It's done pretty quick. It may as well be an instant stun of how fast it shoots.
What is the... Yeah, you can stun anything in 3 shots. You can even stun... I think you could... Can you even stun a Bowling Oak boosting at you in 4?
You might should be able to fire it enough.
Because that's... Actually, is that enough? 280%? I can't remember if 280% is enough. Like, I wonder if you could even stop an EZZ. I don't think so. I think you need, what, like 400, 500% for that thing?
Be pushing it a little bit for that.
Yeah, but you might be able to stun a Bowling Oak, actually. That would be kind of cool.
And I forgot how cool the banner was for day 1. It's got Amuro in it.
Oh, yeah, right? But yeah, next we have the Tetra. Gaining speed up by 5 with 135. It gained flight control program level 2, just straight up. So I guess it didn't have flight control. Just weird for that suit.
That's always nice.
Level 3,
just all boost.
Level 3 and 4 gaining some damage, 5% looks like, for is this ranged, and then reaction booster program level 1 and thruster output increase level 1 for level 3, and then level 2 of both of those for the level 4 suit. And then didn't they finally give it a double dodge roll like last time it got buffed or something? Or am I misremembering that?
Maybe. At this point, they buffed it so many times. I could check the notes.
I can't remember if it actually has a double dodge roll or not, but either way, with that better thruster output, really nice. And then the machine gun, what I'm curious about, if you're pulling that up, the rapid fire has been improved, and then also level 3 and up got 10 damage, which I'm guessing either the level 4 got 10 damage or the level 4 got a little bit more, but I'm guessing it's just 10. But yeah, what is, if they have the fire rate change, I'm really curious to know if that's like, you know, did it just go from like pew 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 to pew 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 pew, you know, like just barely anything noticeable, or is it like, you know, the what is it, Agsaku machine gun change?
Where it's just like burrs now instead of fucking...
Yeah, right?
It went from 355 shots a minute to 400.
Okay, so that's not... Yeah, it's okay.
It sets up pretty quick. If you miss the rounds on your burst, your arm gun will catch your misfire for you pretty quickly. So I actually didn't hate it. I ran it after they buffed it like once. If all the extra stuff they've adjusted, it definitely feels good. Like definitely feels like you can actually like one combo.
Another one that I wish they would have done something with the you know, the accumulation stagger is now we're in supports, unless there's anything else on the Tetra that you guys want to point out.
They're gonna make it good one day.
One day. Actually, stats wise, it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Except for at, you know, 700 cost, and then 650. It's kind of bad. But yeah, that's level 3 and 4. But the Nemo getting a buff. Level 2 gained speed up to 125. The power has been increased from 60 to 80 on its Vulcans, so the Vulcans actually do some okay damage now, which is kind of cool. But they're stagger accumulation has been increased, and I believe it took me about 30 shots to stun somebody, which is still kind of bad because they shoot slow. The damage is okay. You can finally actually kill a general that is low with them, but as far as an actual defensive mechanism against raids, they are not. I'd prefer just do some more damage to them and tackle into them and hopefully get a lucky stun than try to accumulate stagger and then knock them over. But yeah, if you got that stagger accumulation value, let me know. And then the beam cannon also got an accumulation increase. Reload adjusted to 15 seconds, which is pretty big, and at level 2 it gained what is that, 60 or 55 damage? Or 45 damage, something like that. Not bad. Oh, 55, yeah.
Sorry, I was on the general Nemo. Give me a second. I was like, I can't find the buffs.
Oh yeah, Nemo 3,
Okay.
sorry. If I didn't say 3.
No, you did. I'm just a big dumb.
I mean, it's still a solid
like,
suit, but it's
"Where is it?"
definitely fallen to power creep. I think you would probably agree with that, Gustav. I think you played it more than I've played the Nemo 3.
I did.
Yeah, back when it was first like fresher. And after a while, I just kind of dropped it.
But the Vulcan stagger rate went up by 1%, so it's 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's 20?
It should be.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense because I had a raid boosting at me. I think it was Maniac doing that test. Yeah, that's about 30 shots roughly. You know, assuming a couple maybe missed. But yeah, okay.
And the stagger rate on the beam cannon is up from 50% to 60.
Ooh, maybe you could actually do that. You could probably beam and then Vulcan them.
Then
actually.
Vulcan.
Yeah. Okay, that's not bad. I can see that. Next is the Gallus K. Surprisingly enough, when I see this thing, it's got good damage. A lot of times. So level 2, gaining some damage, looks like on his beam cannon. 100 damage. Range enhancement went up by 5% on level 2 as well. You gain high performance radar, cool, level 3, me. And then 1,000 health, because it was dying a little bit too much. And that's about it. But I'm really curious to see if this actually gets it up to being average. Like I said, every time I see it in a game, I'm really surprised to see how much damage it's doing by the end of it. Especially on the rival screen, being like, what? I lost to this thing? How did I lose in damage? Especially since it's a 500 and 550. But yeah, anything else with the Gallus K?
Bully to support.
Yep, bully. I mean, I really haven't seen it any more consistently, so it's kind of hard to say.
And then the final one that you just never see anymore, the 7th Gundam.
Oh god.
There's savants that still like to play that thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you see, I'm curious to see some of them with this now because it did get some pretty significant number buffs for damage here. 50 damage per missile in its missile pod. 70 damage per beam shot from its arm beam gun. And then 2.5 second charge time from 3. So its beam rifle seems pretty legit now. I'm really curious to see the numbers after this, especially at 550, to see if it can finally bring that thing up to where it needs to be. But it's decently close, but of course it's still bad. Like I've just laughed at all their buffs so far. As with the what you said with the GBO Tetra, one day they'll make it okay. Maybe.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people were saying that it was already pretty okay after the initial changes. So
I don't know. I've again, you know, if that's your main suit and you can make it work, then yes, I do that with the Dom Barrage. So I can't really speak when it comes to that. But at the same time, on paper for me, the 7th looks pretty bad.
The 7th does have the necessary tools to handle things that are in its face. One shot to beam rifle plus a little bit of I can't remember if it's like arm missiles or
the missiles now can just stun. Like they upped
Yeah,
it.
I mean after they made the last adjustment to it or whatever, you could just tap and then sub weapon and stun like anything. At least most normal suits anyway.
Can you even do
and then it
raids
has
though
the tools.
with just the arm
Um,
grenade? I thought they changed it to where the arm grenade can just pretty much stun a raid boosting at you.
they might be able to, but if you do the beam
Oh
rifle
yeah, if you
shot
do,
ahead of time, you
it's
definitely should be able to
definitely
stop.
yeah. But the arm grenade's got kind of gross. I just can't aim.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I feel like with the 7th, you aren't really. I mean, obviously, if you can charge, go for it. But I feel like you don't even really need to charge. But sometimes you don't have time to shoot and then do something because somebody's walking at you and you have an instant stun. You have a giant hitbox with that fucking gigantic gun on your shoulder. So
Right. But anyway, that was it. Actually, that was a pretty short buff list. Some decent ones in there though. Well, the nerf. We'll see how good that is. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about next week's news suit speculation. Cough, cough. I mean, we kind of already talked about it, but
Yeah.
at this point, I'm going to throw up the
what
other
I think
overlay.
I think the Rezell will be cool because it can have different versions depending on like the defensor unit that's on it. Like the defensor type B could be a support. It's got like 3 gigantic guns, man. The A version has a bunch of missiles. It could also honestly could also be a support. Maybe make it a general. Who knows? You know, the regular version be like a raid. A nice little mix. And we get the Shakria for anniversary. It's cool that they can explode it now.
I mean, if it doesn't drop next week, honestly, if it doesn't drop next week, then I'll have enough tokens. I'm just not spinning on any
Right.
banner till it comes out. That's just, I'm gonna be sleeping.
I know. I will wait.
Like I'm gonna be sleeping on it hard until then, dude. But yeah, there we go. But yeah, dude, I really hope this is the second coming of the GBO2 MLRS. Like, we need another, supports need another terrifying, like, the age of support kind of got crushed a little bit.
Well, like Big Brain was kind of like an okay resurgence, and then it immediately got squashed by everything else that showed up.
Yeah, it's, well, I mean, they buffed it significantly. They buffed it like everything it had almost got buffed, which I still think it needs a whole lot more. But
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. We need the second coming of the MLRS, dude. I thought that the Big Brain was going to be that. Wait, hang on. Because, you know, I really was wanting to sit like this for a long time.
Big Brain.
Big Brain.
Nope, no more.
But I guess I'll be you know, having my green dream. Let's go.
But yeah, it's not gonna be a support with the blocking skill and a bunch of beam barf.
Oh yeah, that's. I guess we can kind of go more into its beam barf and speculation on that. Like, it's
also seems like it has an eye field on it too from some of the stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it has the eye field, which is amazing. It's got its shoulders. I'm really curious if that's just going to make it a giant stun box, though.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not like, you know, your problems with the full armor Gundam's little missile thing. You know, the little random missiles that fire out and they're worthless.
Yeah.
So it doesn't turn into that.
Yeah, I hope that's what, because it has that kind of beam volley thing, but then it showed using all of its funnels in a straight range thing. So like, you know, the essentially the shot from the show where it's like, here's a line of death, go.
Yeah, big old fence of doom.
So the thing is, it looks like it does that, but is it, you know, is it like a Gameok where you charge it up and just lock on and fence of doom somebody? Or is it one where you have individual funnels, and then if you're using your individual funnels, you can't do Fence of Doom, but then when they come back, you Fence of Doom somebody? Like, I wonder how many.
Hard to tell 'cause they did it all at once. So
Yeah, they just showed it can use all of its funnels, and I'm like, okay, does that mean you're
how?
Did you just lock on twice for this in like a second?
Because, yeah, like one after the other.
Because that was like, because it releases the ones in the middle, and then it releases the ones up top, and I'm like, was that 2 lock-ons?
Yeah,
or
I mean,
that one lock-on?
It might be an MP cube kind of thing, where it just has 2 rows for like weapons.
So I'm curious if it's that, or was that just a big lock-on? That's one of my big concerns with it, or, you know, delights, depending on how it works. The chest missile vomit was crazy. And then the defense thing, like we already talked about it, but I think that's going to be one of the best skills supports we'll see, and hopefully they keep giving that out because that's just huge. Just to be able to hunker and yeah. And if it's also somehow not a support, I'm gonna cry. You might actually see a tear on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it can use multiple lock-ons at once. Like I think they can't be afraid to push the envelope for a big name support like that. Like they already kind of dropped the ball at the Dagdoll. They just need to stop being cowards and give it a dodge roll or something. But they really need to go in. What's the point of making these like highest rarity top end suits that perform like a 650 or something like that?
Yeah.
If they're gonna be cowards,
they already did it with
the
the big brain, and I'm sure that was a letdown that probably makes people a little like on defense, like, oh, it's gonna be a 4-star support and it's just gonna suck somehow, but like we'll see.
Like I feel like this one might be the second coming of Emblem just because the Dagdoll was such underwhelming for people. Because it was like, oh dude, you can combo and do so much damage. Yeah, but you're a support that has to get into melee range. And like I just want them to, instead of the dodge roll, if they don't want to give the dodge roll, give me priority 3. No balls. Give me priority 3 as a support. Do it.
Straight up.
Let me clash with the raid, dude. They can already stun me. Make them stun me.
Magnum standing on top of BB Studios, like, just give it all this shit, no balls. No balls.
Kobe's walking out to lunch and Magnum's on the roof and he's like, Kobe, no balls.
No balls.
Like,
3 priority Dagdoll, no balls.
No balls. Big brain mode, no balls.
Somebody call the police again.
Oh, no. Wait.
You just hear them march up the stairs like, ah, shit. Oh goodness. But yeah, we'll just have to see. I really hope that they don't biff it twice with a 4-star support, but we'll just have to see how that goes, because definitely need something to round out 700 with. As fun as it can be sometimes, it's definitely been very samey.
I'm still thinking about that. Like I just take a trip to Japan just to be like, no ball. But yeah. I can't wait. I'm just like, let's go. My body's ready. Shoutria time.
Been ready to fight.
Like I was expecting it to be like a boss or something, but nope, it's in the game. I didn't honestly I didn't
for
realize
the
it was
longest
that small.
time we did think it was gonna just be a boss.
I guess that's another question. What would be a boss for
Down in Neo Zeong?
Yeah.
That's
That's an easy one. Just put it in space.
There you go.
If not the Neo Zeong, it'll be
the one from
Loney's suit, the big fucking sniper thing. Maybe even both, but one of those two probably.
The big Nightingale monstrosity that they made.
Yeah, because it fires like giant fucking beams and shit. It's like a ground boss.
It's got land funnels or reflectors, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we just let them have it on ground anyway. Then they don't even need the hell of a chapter bits.
Do we want to also kind of guess what we're going to get for unicorn stuff at anniversary? Do we want to save that for later?
We're just going to get unicorn! That's it.
Yes. Beam a Magnum! Let's go!
What do you think what do you think is going to be on the art? I personally would like to see like something with the unicorn and like the banshee.
Oh yeah.
That'd be a little bit cooler than like full front. I mean, granted, it's the same suit, so they got to appeal to both or whatever. But the last one, like, was Zaku just sitting there. Then it was the base camp with the GPO 1 and 2. Then it was just they've had some serene scenes. Then it was Double Zeta Gundam just sitting in the
Double Zeta looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it's the one now with New Gundam and High New Gundam. I'd like to see one with like the Banshee and
New Gundam and High New. I mean, we still need to get High New.
Did I say High New? Yeah, Sazabi. Yeah. Sabi's not even real. We do need to get High New. I agree. New Year's, Christmas.
Probably.
I beg, please.
be a Banshee regular one. I think it'd be cool if they put the Phoenix in.
Phoenix will be like the smallest boss that we get.
Let us play the Phoenix. That'd be cool.
You'll have to go to G Generation Eternal to do that, sir. Or maybe even SRW3.
But like the Phoenix already existed at the time or whatever, right? It just wasn't in the show until it wasn't relevant until narrative.
Until
it's
a
just
movie.
one of those things that's so like, what's the word? Like nebulous in terms of its abilities, and it's actually like really simplified kit wise. So like, I don't know how that would really work as just like a regular suit.
It'll just be EXS
It's pretty much
2.0.
the equivalent of like a legendary Pokemon in that fucking movie.
But yeah, yes, exactly. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh yeah, we're seeing it fly across the sky. Look at that.
I could see it being similar to the Moon Gundam, like the shield bits that it has. Both do like something similar to the G-Door's blade attack, and I could see it being used for defense too.
As far as the powers of the suit goes, though, I can see it being like EXS, kind of like, the EXS is supposed to be crazy, and then it's just like, yeah, he gets a little speed.
Let it rip.
Yeah, I still love that sound. And then I will say the EXS at least got a dodge roll later, but yeah. I don't know. I think I'd be curious to see if, because they did have movie props in the thing, so I'm curious to see if we get anything like that.
We'll definitely get the what you call it? Definitely Unicorn.
Oh, definitely Unicorn Banshee.
100%, almost 100% sure we would see the
Sinanju as well.
Sinanju, yeah, I think I was forgetting the name for a second.
Yeah, so was I. I was like, Emblem, save me. Wait, I got it. I got you.
Silver Bullet could be cool.
Ooh, yeah.
It's something they should put in the original Titania. That'd be pretty sweet, but that's something completely different. Delta Gundam.
What else?
I don't know what makes Delta Gundam different from a Hyaku Shiki.
But yeah. Yeah, any other ideas? Any other specific things or wants, I guess?
I want the Kirishita to be a raid. No.
Some fighting words there.
Never. How about we'll do this? If it's a raid, I'll roll for it and fight you in your favorite blue. But if it's a support, you can roll for it and get it, and I'll fight you my favorite red. Okay.
Okay, I'm completely okay with that. I'll take on any raid with that suit. I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm feeling pretty confident about it because my thing is, you come at me with your heavy attack. I'm really curious. I want, for real though, the first test is I want your biggest heavy attack and obviously your EZZ to smack me in defense mode, and I just want to see what happens.
Shit, the Zeku Ainz one might be might be the big deeps, but yeah, enhanced level Zeta would definitely slap around. So you want me to downswing you with a ag, is what you're telling me, right? You said the strongest heavy attack in the game.
Oh no!
You full combo of
No, don't do it. It's too strong.
True cast to your metal.
But yeah, it's what, 70% reduction for defense mode. So if that's really what it has, like that, instead of one-shotting me, if you only do like 3,000 with a heavy attack from an EZZ, that's just gonna be like,
bah!
Oh, you're approaching me.
Another question kind of comes up too. Do you think those racks will be treated like shields, kind of like the full armor Thunderbolt Gundam? I personally don't think they will, but it'd be interesting.
I feel like they're just going to be buffers that have like 30%, and you're just going to get stunned a lot, and that's going to be the
Mhm.
problem. Like it's going to be
It
a very
depends.
wide.
It's like my
stun
thing
too.
is that they really need to, like we were saying before, just double down and give it a bunch of resistances
Mhm.
for it to actually perform at 700 with that sheer size.
Yeah,
But yeah,
so
it probably
I
will
think
be
they
like
should.
30% buffers, and it'll just get standstill like the Masala a lot.
if it
I think they should give
somehow
it shield with shield stance mastery.
that would be amazing if those could actually explode, but like the outside of them just explode so that they
just
show their damage.
cosmetic damage.
Yeah. Like, it's big enough, you can make the outside explode, even though it houses the funnels. You don't have to have it, because we've already got stuff that explode the outside pretty much now.
And still fire
on.
missiles and shit, so
Yeah.
these funnels will be okay.
Or, if they do give it shock dampener and it just has a lot of defense, that would be awesome too, but I think that might be borderline OP, especially if you have the defense stance, because then you're just like, I don't care about getting hit by a stun, and then the big heavy attacks come and you're just like, hoo hoo hoo. Just tighten up your defense mode, you know, block a little bit, and then
Put your arms up, Rocky.
pull out your beam sabers and then block with them, and then whew, and just cut a raid in half. Also, that special counter, though, I will say it looks a little silly because it's just like, I thought it was shooting it at first. I didn't really pay attention, but it's just like, I'm boosting, powering
just
up,
whoosh on people.
smack.
Giant. I think it does that in the
Yeah,
show at some point too.
yeah, but you're just like, oh, smack, and it only smacks with like one beam saber, so it's just like pretty good. It's hilarious, but
Just
yeah.
showboating.
Yeah,
like
right.
every support does.
Support confirmed. Special attack or special counter shows it. But yeah, I'm hyped. Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm ready to bully.
I'm ready to bully. Wait a minute. What? You're gonna be playing the Kshatriya as a support? Because it's gonna bully. If it doesn't bully, like, this is gonna age so poorly, and I'm just gonna be like, for the next like 3 weeks,
it's
that
just guy again.
I'm gonna be like copium. Like, I'm gonna be like on super. Like right now, I'm either correct or I'm on super hopium right now. And then after it comes out, if anything's bad, I'm gonna be like on super copium. But yeah. Anyway, sounds pretty good. Stuff and things. So we want to go ahead and do some shoutouts.
Yeah, let's do it.
Gustav.
Yeah, Gustav 13th, Gustav _X on all social media. Currently doing some G Generation Genesis, as well as the usual GBO2 stuff. Outside of that, I think the next one, and this is not going to win unless we get something else going on, is probably going to be us finally doing Judgment. But that being said, we're pretty deep in 1 year war shit right now. Like, we just finished up, I think, some more of the Igloo stuff. We did Away with MS and a couple others, but we're doing a lot of the side stories before we go into like space proper. So it's been fun. I've been enjoying the game a lot. I don't know, like, are any of you gonna try to SD Gundam Eternal when it actually comes out too? I don't know if I necessarily stream that, but like I'll probably check it out for sure.
Yeah,
just to see how much of the gameplay is actually retained on like a mobile level and stuff like that. It'd be neat.
I'll definitely stream it.
But outside of that, I also did a little bit of Valheim again. We were talking about it earlier. I did some Valheim with Too Much Wong over on his channel. That was fun. I wouldn't mind getting into some more of that in the future as well. Yeah, just trying to keep things open while just doing the big stuff. Battle Alliance is upcoming, but like we were saying before, it's going to be a matter of like where the bulk of people are going to be and all that in terms of just like platform and whatnot. But yeah, besides that, just keeping up with stuff on YouTube, trying to do some more shorts and clips for other social media. So be sure to check us out on Twitch as well as YouTube and all that for all kinds of just Gundam shenanigans stuff for the most part now. What about you guys?
Pretty similar to what Gustav said, but just put it in a gaming emblem. But yeah, got stuff on YouTube. Recently posted the unboxing video for the swag that you saw Magnum. You may have seen Magnum hold up to the cam at the beginning of the podcast. We also have the reaction video to the Gundam Game Fest up there as well. Although it's slightly less clickbaity booba than the tweet that we made, as unfortunately. But
But the
Battle
clickbaity
Operation.
booba.
What do you mean there's no Merida? But GBO2 stuff, been playing some Overworld. I dabbled a tiny bit in Another Centuries episode 2. These games are awesome. It's my favorite Mech Souls game. Why are they wasting their time doing Dark Souls when I got an awesome IP like that? I don't even need any Mech Warrior. Never heard of it. Give me Another Centuries episode 5. But yeah, we're just playing the Robo games. We'll do Battle Alliance. I already signed up, so I plan to check out the console test for Evolution. I'll definitely play GGN Eternal on stream, so we'll do that. Depending on how the gotcha mechanics work, we may do some re-rolling on stream for whatever you're gonna roll.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we'll see. Just keep an eye out. Video games, robots, gaming, maybe fun. GamingEmblem, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all that good jazz.
Cool. And as always, everybody's links to stuff will be down in the description below. But I'm Each Magnum. I stream on Twitch, got a YouTube channel, Discord, Twitter, all that good stuff. I'm gonna be doing some right after this, some GBO2, and I don't know, maybe some V Rising or Tarkov. But yeah, speaking of that, gonna be doing V Rising, Tarkov, and Path of Exile till something else comes out and too many games happens and I have to try to shave off something. Hopefully there's not a wipe too soon, but I am looking forward to a wipe in Tarkov, and that's gonna still me for probably like 72 hours somehow. And yeah, I'll probably drop everything else. Can't wait for the Kshatriya, hopefully here in 3 days, and then who knows, I might pull an all-nighter playing that thing. But
Oh god.
other than that, the yeah, gotta get back into some PoE and stuff. Definitely loving that league so far. I gotta down all the Uber bosses now since they put in super hard bosses. Let's go. But anyway, I think that's mostly it. Oh yeah, YouTube content too. Should have the update video and stuff, and this will be up probably tomorrow night, if not by Tuesday. And then my reaction as well will be on the YouTubes for the thing, and post commentary from Gustav and Vion, who came on. So yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But anyway, guys, let us know in the comments down below what you thought about what we talked about and all that stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. But anyway, guys, that'll be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace.
Later.
It's Morbin time.